everyone. Welcome to the Nocturnal Nerdcast, Pop Culture in the Dark. I am your host, Eric. It is Tuesday, August 4th. We are in August now, 2026. It's still really hot here. We had bad thunderstorms. Actually, we had historic flooding in my area, like a 60-year high on flooding in this area. So, crazy night. I wasn't sure if I was going to even be able to go live because of that, but everything held up, and now it's much better outside. Tonight's stream, we're going to talk about a lot of random stuff, but we are going to talk heavily about Spider-Man Brand New Day and really what's going on at the box office, what this means for Marvel in the future, just an open conversation about that. We're not going to get into spoilers in the very beginning, but I'm going to guess at this point, and we're going to bring up, we got two people in the green room tonight, we're going to bring them up in a second. I'm going to guess that most people would agree that the one spoiler that people have been trying to keep secret isn't really a spoiler anymore, because now it's pretty much, I'm seeing like Variety and Hollywood Reporter and places like that talking about it openly. So I waited till today to make my mind up, because tomorrow's video is going to be about that topic. And so I wanted to gauge sort of where everybody was on the spoiler train. Anyway, hope everybody's having a good week so far. Shout out to some of our channel members in the house. Who do we have as a channel member here? Let me scroll back up, make sure I don't miss anybody. We have Cody's here. Good to see you in the chat. Jose is in the building. We have South Texas Shark is here. Good to see you. Got our mods in the house. Thank you, Cameron. Thanks for all of our mods being here. I do appreciate it. And everybody else for hanging out with us. Hope you guys are having a good day. We had two people, one person restarted their computer. I know they're coming back. We'll just wait for them to come back. But we do have another person waiting as well, and that is Darren. What's up, Darren?
Hello. Welcome.
How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to start a little bit early tonight because I don't know how late I'm going to be. So I was like, we'll start early. I'm really excited just to talk about Spider-Man, which is interesting because we did a stream. We talked about it on Thursday, but I just have so much more to say about it. And I'm really happy about the energy around like the movie and like where I think we're going for the rest of the year. And the next couple years really with Marvel and, you know, what it looks like. Cause we do have a gap next year. We're only getting Secret Wars, which now that I've sat on it a little bit more, but they want to get excited about it. And I'm all for that because you know me, I would rather talk about stuff I love than talk about things that I don't like. And so this movie has really done that for me. And we're going to take overall though, it's kind of interesting. I've watched a lot of reviews about it. I've seen a lot of the same criticisms and some of them I do understand. Like, how did Spider-Man make money? I guess people want to know like how he was surviving or whatever, because if no one knew he was Peter, then Stark couldn't have left him money. That was one of the things that people said. They're like, well, he wouldn't have left him money because he wouldn't have known who he was and stuff like that. So, I mean, I understand those little criticisms, but I don't think any of that for me, to be quite honest, those kinds of questions don't really feel important to me about like what we were seeing in the movie. You know what I mean? Is that fair? Like, you're muted, by the way. You're muted.
Sorry. No, I mean, that's one of those things that will bother you in any movie you watch, not just Spider-Man. It's like, how did they afford this? It's like, because they needed to afford it. That's why.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. It has to happen. He can't be, I mean, I guess he could have been completely broke, but I don't think that'd be a very fun movie to watch.
I mean, I would just assume that he is doing things to make money. Like, selling photos, maybe working on people's tech, something like that. He's doing something to make money, right? I'm not totally sure. Maybe we'll get that answer in the next movie, but
maybe he went back to uploading his videos on like social media, like he did in the
all that ad revenue. He's got
like a night TikToker now.
Yeah, that might be what it is. I don't know. So for me, and this is what I think. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the numbers. I'm going to pull the numbers up. Let's look at the numbers, and then I want to talk about. I did a video earlier today, and by the way, thank you guys, everybody who is subscribe to the Reloaded channel. Thank you guys so much for engaging with the newer content, the newer stuff I'm doing, because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do on Reloaded since we've stopped doing Arrowverse. I know it's been a few years, but I really didn't have a clear direction. I kind of like having open discussions while reacting to videos. I think it's been very well received on the channel. So everybody who's watching on Reloaded, thank you guys so much for the increased engagement and the increased reach for the channel. It really is helping. So I do appreciate it. And I'm going to continue to make content like that, as well as my own style videos. Like tomorrow's videos is just me. I'm not reacting to anybody. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. Let's pull up these numbers though and take a look at these. here. Let me move the poll over in the corner. And there we go. This is from Luis Fernando, one of the few people on Twitter that I still check in on because he does really good. He keeps up with all the movie numbers and stuff. So before we read this, when I was at work on Sunday night and the early projections started coming in for the weekend, and I saw like $920 some million, I quite literally had to double check it with multiple sources because I saw the number 800 and I thought, oh, it's probably going to get close to 800. I thought like, this is a big movie, right? I never said, and by the way, I never said like, I thought it was going to make X amount. I was like, it's going to be profitable. I did throw out the $1 billion number because I felt like making $1 billion was that's an easy prediction for a Spider-Man movie at this point. I didn't know it was going to do it in the first week. $1 billion on opening weekend. I mean, it was just shy of that and it's already hit it by now. I think it's like over $1 billion at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's go ahead, Darren.
Really quickly, I went tonight. I took my mom tonight. It's Tuesday, by the way.
Right.
Not crazy night for movies. That's typically when they do half off.
Mm-hmm.
Every seat in my theater was taken.
Right.
Almost every single seat had someone in it. It was busier tonight than it was Thursday night.
Right.
People are just. I have not seen like this is Endgame. This is like Endgame level, which I never thought we'd see again. I said earlier this year, I was like, we're never seeing Endgame numbers ever again. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, this proves a lot of things wrong. And that's really why I wanted to sort of focus on not just Spider-Man tonight, but like the industry as a whole, because I think there's a lot of conversations to have around this movie. And I feel like it's going to take like an hour and a half to get through most of it because we're very long-winded. But here we go. So Justin says 2 billion is a given. They're projecting 2.5 now. I think that's the number they're saying. I don't think it's crazy to say this movie could get to $3 billion. I don't think that's a crazy prediction. I think it could
too, because I think we've talked about this previously, but look at August. There's like one big movie at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that will go through the first couple weeks of September. September also really does not have that many big movies.
No. And this movie and Odyssey are staying in theaters through September. It's
going to have all of August, all of September, and I'd say a little bit of October.
Yeah.
Which I still think will probably do well in October.
Yeah. I think Coyote v. Acme is going to do good anyway. I don't think that's really even in consideration for this. It's not going to hit those kinds of numbers.
No.
Yeah, Insidious comes out, but again, I don't think that movie is not it's not affected. I would say Odyssey and Spider-Man are tangentially connected, like they're similar audiences, but they're still different because you got the Nolan fans, you got the Spider-Man fans, and they do cross over a little bit. But those movies have their, like, if you're trying to do some sort of like art house big budget movie, Odyssey's not good. You're not going to do it with Odyssey in the box office. Yeah. And if you're trying to do any kind of superhero action movie right now, it's not going to happen with Spider-Man in the box office. Everything else I think is fair game, like animated stuff or things like that I think would work out fine. But this is interesting. Monday actual slightly higher for another all-time record broken by Spider-Man at U.S. box office. So this is domestic. Fastest film to cross 400 million in history. So there we go. Another record. Gross spectacular 47.1 million on biggest Monday of all time, beating Black Panther's 8-year long-lasting record. It's hard to believe that Black Panther held that record for this long. I mean, it's a great movie, but we've had a lot of great movies since Black Panther. Amazing Hold, a 47% drop. That's it. From an incredible Sunday versus Endgame's 36.9, with Deadpool and Wolverine's 59.2, obviously. It hits a 407.2 million domestic in just 4 days.
One thing I've also seen that I don't think we've seen in a long time, I'd say we haven't probably seen this since No Way Home, was this movie has an incredible rewatchability.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I like almost everyone that I have seen who has seen it is like, I need to go again, or I have gone again.
I know somebody that's got tickets for like a week out from now. They're going back to see it again at the beginning of next week because they couldn't get tickets for this whole week because it's selling out. it's crazy to me because I think the thing is, and I want to bring this up. So actually, we're gonna wait. I have something I want to talk about from Destin about this film. It ties into another character. We'll wait till we get there. But I'm gonna say that one of the things we kind of pondered about, and I mentioned this in my video earlier today, is beyond Spider-Man being able to make a ton of money at the box office, because we already know that Spider-Man does, right? It's like that's not a big secret. Beyond Spider-Man being able to make money at the box office, I think one of the biggest driving factors to such a huge opening weekend was keeping Sadie Sink's character a secret as long as they did. You're muted, by the way.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I agree.
We questioned it, and the truth is they could have made it public. There was nothing stopping them from that. But I think when Kevin Feige spoke out at Comic-Con and he says that they do everything to try and create the biggest experience for people on opening weekend, I hate to say it, this was the right decision for them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Spider-Man needed it. I think it still would have had a great opening weekend, but we have to that has to factor in. You know, I think
there's this element of like even if we know something, there's always an element of needing to prove it, right? It's like I'm like, you know, we've had this rumored forever. And we're like, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is, and also who it is, too, also really helps. Like,
right?
Not I won't go into spoilers, but this is someone that people have been wanting to see. This genre of character, people have been wanting to see in the MCU since the MCU started. People have been like, where are the blank, right? And so now that there's this mystery around it, like we might see the first blank in the MCU officially. Right. So I think that definitely helps. I also think it just helps that I feel like this is the first Spider-Man movie to truly capture the feeling of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
there have been a lot of Spider-Man movies, but the feeling of what people got from Insomniac, what people got from reading the comics, what they got from playing or watching Spectacular Spider-Man or 90s Spider-Man, they capture that, and that's in the promotion of movie.
I also want to say small things like a practical costume, like small things like that, like going back and saying, we're going to put you in a costume. We're going to let people know it's a costume. It's not a green screen suit that's pieced together on you. It's an actual legitimate costume. We're not going to hide that in the movie. Like, we're going to let people see the imperfections when you move and things like that. We're going to do that. We're going to lean into the swinging, which is something they didn't do a lot of in previous stuff. We got a little bit of it, but it was never great, right?
Yeah.
We're going to lean into that. We're going to lean into the emotional core of Peter Parker. Like, we're going to dive into that. Remember, before the movie came out, I had talked about one of the things I wanted them to tackle was the remaining stuff that happened at the end of No Way Home with him and his friends. Now, I will admit we didn't get all the way there with it. I think there's still more that needs to be covered, but I do appreciate that they took it seriously and they did put in the work to make that whole thing connect on an emotional level, because they did the thing that I was worried that if they tried to explain it, it was going to come across difficult to understand. Like, who remembers what person gets this, what person gets that, blah, blah, blah. I thought they were really going to try and oversell it a little bit. But instead, what Destin did is he was like, oh no, we're going to scale it back. And it's just going to be how he's dealing with this traumatically, how this affected him over the last 4 or 5 years, how this affected his friends and their connection with reality, because they didn't know that they had someone that they missed and that, you know, they did all these things with them, and how this is going to play out for them. And I think they did a great job of it. Do you think that that's something that, I don't know how big of a deal it was for you, but do you think they accomplished, at least in your opinion, tackling that subject matter in a way that made sense for you as a movie viewer?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's something that you obviously had a much bigger thing about than me. Like, it always kind of made sense to me. I also think it helps it being magic, because magic you can kind of put as well, there is a bit of mystery to it, right? There is an element of Ned won't understand it because he doesn't know what happened for one, and also he doesn't understand that world. The same goes for MJ and all these characters. So, but yeah, I think focusing in on and narrowing in on just how these characters feel and the emotion behind it, and heart of these characters. I think it's really what's drawing people to this one, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't remember if it was you or who it was that said it, but I think we came to the conclusion that it would be better for them to just not address it in a literal way, because we thought that would weigh the movie down. And looking at the movie, I think it probably would. Like, I think if they would have tried to focus in on the specifics of, like, well, how did this person forget this? Or did his name disappear out of a yearbook or something? Like, those kinds of things I think would have been fun if we were dealing with a movie that had more breathing room, but there was other stuff happening in this movie that would have pulled away from, in my opinion.
I am also curious, like, I know I keep bringing it up and stuff, and I do apologize, but, like, Secret Wars is about to happen too. Like, how much of this will be affected by that?
Right.
Of the, like, what are these characters looking like post Secret Wars? You know what I mean?
I mean, so the thing I'm worried about is, are we going to wave it away and make it so that everybody just remembers Peter again? Because we know, without spoilers of the movie, we know that it's kind of unresolved at the end, and we'll talk specifics about that in a little bit. But we know it's a little bit unresolved for some of the characters. And I don't know if we're going to carry that same trauma beyond this movie. And then that brings in the question, like, we know they're going to do a Spider-Man 5. We know that these actors are going to be involved with it, right? We already know this. Do we then get in a situation like we were with some other Marvel movies where storylines are wrapped up in group films, and then you come back to the individual films and things are different? Like with Guardians of the Galaxy, a lot of the criticism is that the whole Star-Lord Gamora thing was done in a group film, and then we come back to the third movie and we're dealing with a different character entirely. Is there any worry that that's what they're going to do with Secret Wars when we come back for Spider-Man 5? Because it's going to have to come out after Secret Wars. So
yeah, I am. Listen, I am excited for Secret Wars, and I do think it's probably the move. But I think the era of us as content creators is going to be hell after Secret Wars, because there is going to be so much. I mean, look back to the Arrowverse. Remember post-Crisis Arrowverse when we had our like chalkboards out mapping the timeline, being like, okay, so if this happens, this had to have also happened, but this said this, so this can't happen. We're going to be doing that again, where it is going to be hell trying to figure out what is canon and what is not canon post Secret Wars.
Right.
It is going to be confusing. Like, I don't think there's a single way to do this without it being confusing. So we'll see. We'll see how they go about it.
Well, one of the things that Kevin Feige said was he wanted to make it all understandable for the general audience. So if the general audience understands it, I'm hoping that we get it too, hopefully. Right? I mean, before we move on, there is a 5 super chat goal in both of the chats. I have some really interesting categories tonight for you guys. So the top 3 up here. By the way, I'm going to announce we will be doing a member appreciation night on Tuesday of next week, not Monday. We're just going to convert a regular stream into news topics, but viewer appreciation. So we'll be doing a regular stream with some of our games, because this is the night everybody comes in usually anyway, when they do show up. We'll see who gets. I said that now, and it'll just be me and Darren for like an hour. But we're going to do it on Tuesday. So guys, bookmark that. Nerdcast next Tuesday will be a viewer appreciation special where we'll be doing a lot of these. So here's the categories. Top 3 Spider-Man versions of all time. So there's a lot to choose from. We're talking comic book versions, cartoon versions. Doesn't have to be Peter Parker. So it can be any Spider-Man at all. It can be the actor. It can be the character, whichever one you want to choose. Top 3 most faithful adaptations in your opinion. So things that were adapted into other things and they stayed true to the original and you appreciated it. Top 3 best web slinging scenes of all time. So we're staying in the theme of Spider-Man. And you can pick your favorite web slinging scenes. And number 4 is best needle drops of all time. So songs in movies that you feel like killed it for you. So those are our options for tonight. Thank you guys so much. We don't have any super chats yet because YouTube is killing the channel. So if you would like to donate a super chat of any level in either stream, it would greatly appreciate. I'd appreciate it because I'm trying to get a new computer. This computer's shit. Jake has jumped in.
What's up? Just in time for me to hear you steal my line.
I know, but you weren't here. I had to do it. You came in as I was pitching it. So we're talking about Spider-Man. We're not doing spoilers yet. We are going to do spoilers tonight at some point, but we're just talking about the overall like box office and how absolutely nuts everything is right now with Spider-Man: Brand New Day. What are you thinking, Jake?
I mean, like I knew the numbers would be like really good. I had no doubt that it was going to make money, but I think, like repeated good word of mouth, repeated viewings from people like Darren up here, and also the fact that a lot of first-time viewers are bringing their whole family pack with them. That's a lot of money right there. So like all of this has just kind of helped. And I mean, like Spider-Man's Marvel's golden goose, he almost makes more money than Marvel itself at this point with how much it's coming in, and Sony's getting half that deal too.
It's going to get even bigger because they just announced that Spider-Man: Brand New Day's massive start at the box office this weekend has convinced IMAX to change course and split its screens in North America with Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. So it says here, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, somewhere I just hope that like Tom Holland and John Bertha are just like toasting with a glass on the Riviera because they're having a good couple weeks.
It says Zendaya as well. CEO of IMAX, Rich Gelfond, said in a statement, well, I don't know if you say that right, "We believe more Spidey fans around the world will want to experience his latest adventure at IMAX, and we hope to be a major driver of both new and repeat viewings for the latest hit in the incredible year of moviegoing." So what's going to happen is now you're going to have people that have already seen the movie a couple times in a regular format, and they're like, oh, it's an IMAX now. So now they're going to go, if they have an IMAX near them, to see it in IMAX. This is going to make a bunch of money because keep in mind, all of the money it's made so far is 0 IMAX theaters.
Yep.
Like it got no IMAX releases. Now it did get some of the premium formats for like Dolby and stuff like that, but that ticket, the price margin on that ticket isn't the same as IMAX. IMAX is the single most expensive ticket you can buy for a movie. Yeah. So it made all that money without IMAX at all, which is pretty crazy. And I don't think this is going to help or hurt Odyssey because Odyssey's been extended anyway. They're going to get their viewings in. Thoughts on this? Them reversing course and going, we want Spider-Man in IMAX.
I think it kind of shows that like IMAX, like movies don't really need IMAX to be successful. Like I know people were very worried when this was first a thing. I think isn't Endgame in a very similar spot where like Dune has all the IMAX spots? Yes. I don't really think that matters for them right now, especially for like movies of this size. Like people were going to see Spider-Man on any screen that they could get in on, and it wasn't really going to be affected by the IMAX screening.
Wasn't Infinity War a small thing? Like, wasn't that the first time where a movie had been shot fully with IMAX cameras? Wasn't Infinity War the first time that was done? Or am I misremembering that?
You're talking about IMAX cameras or 70 millimeter? Because I believe Odyssey is the only one that's ever been shot entirely in 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because there's Limax. Now, it could have been Limax, which is the premium format screens. They're not true IMAXs. Could have been that. But
that might have been it too. I have to go back and read that.
Because Black Panther 3 is also going to be shot entirely on 70 millimeter, which is going to be interesting.
I mean, if it looks anywhere near as good as the Odyssey, then.
Yeah. So, Anthony, I think that's a good segue as well. I mean, like, if they're willing to switch course here and say, hey, this movie had a great weekend, we need to put some of these in IMAX, what's to say they can't do the same thing with Doomsday? Like, if Dune comes out and Doomsday crushes it by some chance, I can't see IMAX being like, we're not going to put Doomsday in some of our theaters.
I will say this only helps Doomsday. This being as beloved as it is and as popular as it is, it's like the like conversation is like, okay, what's next? What's the next thing? And I think we've officially, and maybe I'm speaking too soon, I think we've won the casual audience back over. Like, even if like critically it hasn't completely, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, Daredevil Born Again, Spider-Man, they have consistently put out really good projects.
Wonder Man too.
Wonder Man, even though a lot of people didn't watch it, Wonder Man, like they've been putting out good stuff. And I think if Doomsday can land it, if Doomsday can like hit the ball, if they can please at least most of the audience, I think they're in a good spot going forward. Hopefully post Secret Wars.
This might be a hot take, and I'm sure the chat's going to roast me for it, but because I think Spider-Man was always going to make big money, but I do think that, like you were saying, Darren, the work that Marvel has put into sort of like refocusing their brand, I think this Spider-Man coming out, being well received, all of that refocusing of their brand, I think this spells nothing but good news for Doomsday, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because this is kind of the cherry on top of all of it, really. I want to be clear here. The average moviegoer, and I don't give a fuck who wants to argue with me about it, doesn't make a distinction between Sony or Disney distributing this film. There's no distinction with that, right? We know that because we keep up with it. But the average moviegoer sees this as an MCU movie, period. They don't care that Sony put it out. Right? They're not thinking about that. Because let's be honest here. There was supposed to be a Sony boycott because of physical media. Nobody gave a fuck about that when they went and saw Spider-Man. Because people don't connect the two things together, right? They don't see it that way.
Yeah. Even though Sony's like the head up here, that's Sony. Wow. Sony is the spider that is spinning that great web of stuff.
Yes. And by the way, Sony is also doubling down on getting rid of physical media. So good luck on that, Sony. I think you're going to hate that you did that, but
this is my response to that right here.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Doomsday, I think it's important to bring this up as well. They've already made, and this is from earlier today. Wait, who dropped out? Oh,
I think
Darren.
I think he'll be back.
Yeah. This came out earlier today, so I'm pretty sure it's probably higher already, but we have to talk about this. Avengers Doomsday already crossed 19 million domestically 4 months ahead of the release. They've been selling tickets already.
Oh, it's tracking numbers, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Pretty
already.
Crazy.
Already.
Yeah.
So again, we're seeing this is the benefit of having Spider-Man come out and get people reinvigorated in these movies. And I think Doomsday was going to be big regardless, but having this movie come out, because the conversation now is going to be, and I think this is important to talk about, and I hopefully Darren comes back because I also want to hear his thoughts on it too. The Marvel is back narrative. It's so weird to me, right? It's so weird to me, to be honest.
Okay.
Sorry,
can I just get this off my chest? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that pisses me off so much. So, Marvel is back. Oh, they made something we don't like. Okay, now they're gone. Oh, we made something that we do like. Now they're back.
Yeah.
If they were truly gone, if they were truly dead, you wouldn't have got any more stuff.
Right.
They can make something.
That's what happens with dead stuff. It doesn't come back. This isn't Dungeons and Dragons or a comic book or something like that.
This isn't Call of Duty. You don't get a respawn chance. If something's gone, it's gone. But you have bumps and hills, and let's not pretend. I have to always bring this up. I feel like let's not pretend everything in the Infinity Saga was flawless 10 out of 10 material either.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
No.
The people only started having a problem within the last 4 or 5 years.
Right. So, because it's rosy lensed nostalgia is basically what it is.
Yeah.
So we did have Joe joining us, jumping in here.
Hey.
What's up, Joe?
How's it going?
Good. We were just talking about the incredible $1 billion opening weekend for Spider-Man Brand New Day.
I heard it flopped.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
I heard it.
But it's really interesting, Joe. Have you seen it twice yet? I know you said you were going to see it again.
No. I don't know when I'm going to find the time. I want to see it again.
Right.
But I mean, half the shows were sold out this past weekend, and it's not a short movie. It's 2.5 hours, so that means I have to block 2.5 hours of time in my schedule to go
plus
see
driving there and driving back too. So.
Right. But I definitely want to though.
So the thing about it is, we have some early tracking for Doomsday. Looks like it's this isn't actual. As far as I know, this isn't tracking. This is actual ticket sales.
Eric, I thought you were good with numbers. Kidding.
Yeah, I think these are actual ticket sales according to what I read. But early tracking for it is still kind of all over the place in terms of what it's going to do. But I would assume it's going to do pretty damn good. Now that we've had this really strong Spider-Man opening, especially if we find out that Spider-Man is in it. Like if they announce in a D23 that Spider-Man is in this movie, it's a done deal.
And there's 3 to pick from.
Yeah, it's a done deal, right? They could pick Andrew, they could pick Toby, they could pick Tom, whoever they want. It's a done deal. If you put Spider-Man in Doomsday right now, if we find out that we're getting this before the movie comes out, we're talking about another massive box office, which I think it's going to be big anyway, but you drop Spider-Man in it and it's over. After this film, just no way, right? We did get a couple super chats. Let's go ahead and look at those. We got Zazman Reviews here with a $6.99 Canadian. I think that's Canadian super chat. I feel like the memory spell will be completely forgotten, pun intended, post Secret Wars. Clean slate. Also, I think they'll reveal X-Men cast at D23. All right, so you guys chime in on that. Are we getting an X-Men cast at D23? Yes or no? Because by the way, we can talk about the rumors. There are some rumors of people that have been cast already. We'll talk about that in a moment. But before we get into that,
well, some are a little more than rumors. So
yes, some of them have been discussed. I've seen a combination of rumors and like behind the scenes stuff. So do we get an official X-Men cast reveal at D23? Because I've heard D23 is primarily going to focus on the TV side. That's what I've heard.
That's, from what I understand, that's accurate.
I don't think you're going to get a full cast. You might get a couple people, but I don't think you're going to get a full cast.
Let's see here. Because I know that some of the big trades had articles on it. So let's see.
Also keep in mind this too, when D23 rolls around,
right?
Season 2 of X-Men 97 will have just ended, so we might get a look at the third.
Before we talk about this, because every single article that I'm seeing mentions another person, before we talk about this, I am going to give another general spoiler warning, even though I'm pretty sure at this point, everyone knows. So, but I will give another general spoiler warning before we get to those cast members. Staggervore with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Staggervore. Says, I saw at least one Chud channel making an in-your-face video to Disney about Spider-Man Brand New Day and giving all the credit to Sony, even though Disney co-produced because of the MCU. They didn't just co-produce it. Like, this is the thing that really bugs me.
Disney was the entire creative brain behind that movie. All Sony did was distribute it.
Yes, Sony gets a veto on stuff, but they do not have anything to do with the creative aspect of the conception of the movie. The writers of the movie are from Marvel. The director of the movie is a Marvel director, and all of the story elements come from Kevin Feige. This is a Marvel film. The only thing Sony did was say yes or no to the finished film.
Which they're gonna say yes just so they can hold on to the rights, no matter what the film is.
Doesn't Amy Pascal have say in the creative as well? I thought she worked in tandem with.
As far as I can tell from everything I've read, she might work with Kevin Feige to make sure that they're on the same page, like in terms of where they want to go, but she does not have anything to do with the story of the movie. That's all I've read. Like Amy Pascal can say, we don't want to do that, or we can't use this character or whatever, because like the crazy thing is when we get to the spoilers, some characters are kind of in the gray area depending on how they're allowed to get used. Like, well, characters like the Hulk, that's a good example, because that Hulk can't have a Hulk movie, right? So he's in other people's films. But when it comes to this deal, as far as I know, and everything I've looked up, Marvel, so the reason why this even happened is because Amazing Spider-Man 2 underperformed. It did a lot of money, but it underperformed from what they expected it to do. So they went to Marvel when this deal came to be and said, we need to make sure that this movie is a hit. At this time, Marvel was making huge film, like all their movies were hits. We need another hit movie. We don't know what to do with this character. How about we foot the bill, 75% of production, you do 25%, and you handle the creative and we handle the distribution and call it a day. That is the deal they came to. And they did that deal because they knew they could. By the way, look at the movies they've made in the Spider-Man universe on their own. Morbius, Madam Web, Kraven, and even though Venom, the first one, I think was really the only one that I really, really liked, the other ones did not do well in terms of like audience reception when it comes to, they might have made some money, but they weren't big, huge hits. So I think to imagine that they came in and made $1 billion Spider-Man movie is crazy.
I did love all three of the Venom movies, though.
Yeah, I mean they're fun movies. Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. I'm saying like To imagine that Sony, the company that made those movies, especially the Villainverse movies, had anything to do with the success of
Whoa, Darren. Or Eric.
Success of Spider-Man Brand New Day is lunacy. Welcome back, Darren, by the way.
Hello, yes. I mean, remember in those like early Brand New Day era where like they didn't know if they wanted it to be like Sony wanted it to be a big multiverse story again, and Disney wanted it to be grounded. Thank God.
Hell,
I don't know if I believe that.
Even in the Far From Home days, they were thinking, oh, hey, this deal that we have might not go through. Spider-Man might be out of the MCU and into Sony's little bubble now. There was no way that was ever going to work, but here we are.
Yeah, and Joe, you were saying you don't know if you believe it. I believe a lot of the drama we hear behind the scenes is all just bullshit fanboy stuff.
Yeah, like I never, ever believed that Sony wants this, Marvel wants this thing, because it was coming from scoopers. It was coming from it was coming from, the My Time to Shine hellos and the Jeff Schneiders, like all those people who I don't, if I was outside and water was falling from the sky and those guys told me it was raining, I'd be like, oh, I must be wrong. I think I'm dry right now.
If those guys if there was an idea for a movie that was just stupid enough, I would probably believe it came from Sony.
So Ghost Bumbles, when I say veto, like veto an idea, let me explain what I mean. Money. They're the ones footing 75% of the budget of the film. At the end of the day, it's like James Gunn and Peter Safran. You got one person doing creative, you got one person doing financial stuff. The financial people say, I don't know if it's worth the risk to do XYZ for the amount of money that we have. That's still not contributing to the creative. It's just telling the person that they either don't have the money to do it or they don't have faith that they can make money from doing those things. But they still don't go to you don't see Amy Pascal go, the people that are investing in this movie don't want you to do that. They want you to try something else. The people investing don't go sit at the table with Kevin Feige and pitch ideas. That's not the way that works.
Did you just have to use movie production budgets to explain the word veto?
Yes.
Nice.
Anyway, thank you guys for the super chats. And let's see here. Cody says, well, Tom Holland pretty much confirmed that King in Black was happening before they did Brand New Day. Well, I'm not saying that the people on set don't know inside stuff. I'm talking more about like the articles that pop up on random websites,
Plus, whatever they're saying might happen on a given day, that stuff changes at the drop of a hat.
But let's think about this. The two options they had were multiverse and street level. We kind of knew those were the two options anyway, because we've been doing multiverse stuff and they were advertising a street level Spider-Man. So that was really at the end of No Way Home, you see him doing street level Spider-Man stuff. So like those weren't big stretches of like, these are our two options.
And also
the next Spider-Man movie you get is multiversal and Across the Spider-Verse. So
sure. And like, I also do get it too. It's like when No Way Home almost made $2 billion in COVID, I can understand the studio exec looking at that, like those numbers and being like, well, let's do that again. Let's just do it a second time and make the same money again. And it would have made money, of course. But this, I think, for like the longevity of these characters in the franchise,
I want to share something funny here.
Oh no!
So, is anybody familiar with the New Rock Stars?
No.
Why?
Mr.
Hold on,
Eric
it's a very short clip. I want to preface this by saying, dear white people like myself, stop assuming that every character that you see in a movie, because this is like the third one that he's mentioned that he thinks is going to be this character. Stop assuming this. Let's watch this clip. It's a very short clip, but let's watch this.
Not these guys again.
Tank plows through another cop car, sending it rolling toward this kid on a scooter.
You okay, kid? Yeah, you're okay. See you later.
Peter pats his helmet twice. I think it's a very deep cut reference to the first time Peter Parker technically appeared in the MCU as the kid in the Iron Man mask at the Stark Expo in Queens in Iron Man 2. Iron Man saved him in the final battle, but technically an earlier appearance than that, in like the second or third scene of the film, that same kid in the mask, at the time played by Jon Favreau's son Max, appears to Tony when he's pushing through the crowd. And after giving him an autograph, Tony pats his helmet the same way, twice. Could this little kid on the scooter be our Miles Morales? I looked at the actor on Instagram. He's a stage dancer who was in a West End production of Oliver, just like Tom Holland's origin on the West End on Billy Elliot. I'm probably overthinking it, but kid, I hope I get...
You are absolutely overthinking it. Can we stop saying that every slightly brown character that comes in contact with Spider-Man is going to be Miles Morales? Can we please? Like, please.
Yeah.
That made my brain hurt.
Wasn't that crazy? I saw the video and I was like, I have to talk about this. Like, what the fuck kind of rabbit hole is this?
We do this a lot.
Further than anything Alice jumped down.
I mean, in his defense, a little bit that Iron Man scene, I think, has ruined our brains a little bit forever. Because, let's be honest. Like, they try and be like, "Oh, that was always supposed." No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That was some 10 years later. Hey, what if this is the game?
Well, a future MCU movie kind of alluded to that theory because the beginning of Deadpool and Wolverine, when he's in the office, you see the photo of Tony and Peter from Homecoming, but Peter's part in the photo is blocked by that same little kid Iron Man helmet from Iron Man 2. So obviously because no one knows who Peter is at that point. So it's just funny how they allude to that stuff years later.
So obviously there's an audience for this kind of hyperbolic
connectivity.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that like this kind of stuff. It really makes me roll my eyes, to be quite honest, when I see stuff like this. I'm just like, bro, is this really what we're doing here?
Do you remember the Spider-Man 2? He bumped into the Punisher in the park thing.
Because it was
I don't remember that.
It was Thomas Jane's double that was in the park when Mary Jane's running away. Also, speaking of dumb Spider-Man 2 theories, someone said, hey, that little girl that he saved in the burning building, what if that's actually Ned's grandma in No Way Home? I was like, do you realize how fucking stupid that sounds?
Yeah. There's what do you say, Darren?
I don't mind people having fun with their theories, but I do think there has to be a level of I don't know.
There was also a little kid that looked like they were possibly mixed in the crowd when he left the hospital. And they're like, that must be Miles Morales. I'm like,
yeah. And then the Cindy thing in the, which I mean, that one's at least a little bit better because her name was actually Cindy. But I know everyone's like, that's Cindy. She's gonna be Silk, and I'm like, okay, it could just be.
I don't know. I don't appreciate this stuff, I guess, as much. All right, let's take a look at this here, which is every Spider-Man movie ranked from worst to best. Okay,
I saw this earlier. It's wrong.
All right, we're gonna go through this. This is gonna be fun. I'm pretty sure.
No such thing, Joe. No such thing.
Before we go through this, though, I want to point out that I have said for a while, before we even got to this film, even when we were going through the movies that weren't performing well, that superhero fatigue is a culture war talking point. It's just something that people use on social media to argue, right? Because we've seen over time, it'll be like 2 or 3 movies that underperform, and then bam, one makes $1 billion, and they're like, oh, but it's still superhero fatigue. It's not. There are other things that people are connecting with when it comes to these movies, that it's not just, oh, it's a superhero, I'm not going to go see it. That's not the way people think about films. And in a minute, when we talk about some spoilers, because when we go into the second hour, we're going to do spoilers again. We talk about spoilers. There's actually a specific reason why I think Destin made one of the best comments in terms of what he wanted to do with this movie that did connect with people. And we will get into that. But I'm so tired of superhero fatigue. Sorry, I saw someone say something about it on Twitter when I was scrolling just a second ago. And I wanted to bring that up.
Mistake is looking at Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Cartoon 49 with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Cartoon 49. Says, thought Brand New Day was great. Where do you rank Spider-Man, or wait, where do you rank it in the MCU, I guess? That's a big conversation. I don't know where I would rank Brand New Day.
I've done it compared to the other Spider-Man movies, but not overall MCU yet.
Right now, it is my number 7.
Actually, wait.
Okay.
No. Actually, wait.
Of 38.
Actually, wait. No, I did.
Okay, well, tell me where it's at on your letterbox. Just tell me where it is.
Damn it! No, that's Spider-Man, MCU. It is my 14.
Okay.
14 and overall for the MCU?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that including shows, Jake, or no? Just
yes.
Movies? Oh, that's including shows. Mine's only movies.
Ah.
Okay.
I have it at 6.
Okay.
Number 6.
Okay.
That's pretty high, I have to say. I don't know if I'd put it at 6, but
that suggests that I don't like it or something.
Yeah, that's fine. Where did you have it, Darren?
I had Spider-Man Far From Home at number 6, and I liked Brand New Day better than Far From Home. So,
that's a good sign then, I guess, for a lot of people. Is for because I'm not as Cody said his second favorite MCU movie. Wow,
I get it.
Yeah, no. I totally understand why people would rank it high. I wouldn't put it that high, but I get why people would. But let's see this variety list here and kind of see where they put these movies and then see what we think. Any guesses on what? Go ahead.
We should compare it with our own afterward.
Well, as we go through these, I'm going to say guess like the next one. So, and if you've already read it, do not cheat and guess.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't read it yet, right? So I pulled up the article and I have not scrolled down beyond here. So I'm going to guess based on just general consensus out of all of these movies, even though I know which one I would put last, I'm going to guess they're going to go with Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? That would be my guess. If it were my list, Spider-Man 3 would be dead last.
I think this list is going to be some bullshit. I think typically with these lists, it feels like they spin a wheel, and because they know if they do a bullshit ranking, it's going to get a bunch of retweets being like, "What are you talking about?" and it gets some money. So
if it were my last, Far From Home would go down there, but
I'm going to say that one of the Spider-Verses is in last place because
one of them. All right,
so that's the bullshit answer.
Yeah.
Joe, have you already seen it? Have you already seen the list?
I have, yeah.
Okay, all right. So don't guess then. Don't tell us. All right, first one on the list is scrolling carefully. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That was the one that I thought it was going to be because it's honestly the safest one. If you pick this, I don't think many people are going to argue with you, to be honest. Like I like this one slightly better than Spider-Man 3, but Spider-Man 3 would still be my bottom. But I understand why people put this at the bottom. I will say that up until this movie, this was the best Spider-Man costume in film, in my opinion. The one from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
It was my favorite one.
I despise this movie, but I agree with you there.
What about the Spider-Man costume?
The costume,
yeah. I love this one.
I think
it's got two great leads, great music, great action. It's about where the praise ends.
I think there are brilliant moments in this movie. Like this movie has some of my favorite Spider-Man moments ever put to screen.
Mm-hmm.
The other half, though, there's so many little things where it's like, why did you do that? That was a weird choice.
This movie also commits the biggest cardinal sin to Spider-Man by turning him into the chosen one instead of making him an everyman. I'm like, this is dumb. Like having it to where Peter Parker or someone in the Parker bloodline are the only ones capable of getting spider abilities. Like that's stupid.
That goes into that really bad storyline from the comics. We know which one it is. I don't.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Okay, so number 10. I'm going to keep saying it until we see it. Spider-Man 3 for
Eric.
me. Spider-Man 3 for me would be number 10. Where is everybody else at? Well, Joe, you're not going to answer, but Jake or Darren, what are you thinking?
I don't remember, literally. So.
Okay.
You know what?
Mine. Let's see.
So my number 10 would be Amazing Spider-Man 2. So
right. But what would you like? You can say what yours is, but what do you think theirs is the question.
Either Far From Home or Amazing Spider-Man, maybe.
Okay. So the first one of these or Far From Home. Okay, got it. Let's see. Spider-Man 3.
All right.
I am vindicated. These are my interchangeable bottom two of the Spider-Man movies.
I get it.
This movie, beyond memeability, is awful to me. There's so many memes in this movie and so many funny moments, but I just do not like this movie. I don't like it. So I have no problem with it being at number 10. Now, Jake, I know you don't think it belongs at number 10.
No, I don't. I think it belongs way higher.
Anybody else disagree with the ranking?
I've stood on that opinion for 20 years.
I agree that this belongs at number 10, but I think this is a redeemable film. I don't think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is redeemable. I think if you take out two elements of this movie, it's a much better film. Harry with amnesia, which was just stupid, and the exposition butler who knew all along but didn't say anything until the very last minute. Like those two things are so dopey that I think if you just took them out, this movie's infinitely better.
Okay.
Hold
All
on.
right, wait, hold on. Wait. Yeah,
What is that comment saying Spider-Man 3 is a lot like Superman 3? That is one of the worst comparisons ever. Superman 3 is like one of the worst comic book films that's ever been made.
So that means it's a good comparison then.
You are in enemy territory, Jake. I don't think you're going to win this one.
Okay, so we're now at number 9. I'm going to say either Amazing Spider-Man 1 or because wait, what movies are included in this list?
I think it's everything. I think it's all the live action movies plus the 2.
Okay, I'm just going to go with Amazing Spider-Man 1 then. That's what I'm going to go with. Anybody else want to guess number 9?
I'll say Amazing Spider-Man 1 as well. Yeah.
I'll say Far From Home.
Okay. Wow. Let's see. Amazing Spider-Man 1. There we go.
Yeah, they just don't like the Amazing.
This suit was almost as good as the one in the second film, but it had a weird like basketball texture to it, which I didn't really like. And the eyes were a little bit smaller. So, but I did like Gwen in this movie.
That's also my number 9.
Oh, is it really?
Mm-hmm.
So,
my number 10 hasn't shown up yet, though.
Okay.
So far, I'm in complete agreement with the list, but it does go off the rails, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. All right. So number 8. This is where it gets a little rough.
Okay.
I'm gonna say. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna say Homecoming.
If Far From Home's above Homecoming, that's crazy.
I'm just gonna say Homecoming because I know the list goes crazy, so I'm gonna guess something.
I'm gonna say one of the Spider-Verses again.
Okay.
I don't think they're right, but
All right. Here we go. Wow, Far From Home is number 8.
okay, good
See,
job.
that's complete bullshit. That needs to be way higher. That's like a perfect film right there.
That's my number 10.
Far From Sense is more like it.
The funny thing is, this was one of my favorite suits of his. The one he wore, both of the ones, the stealth suit and this one, I really enjoyed.
Night Monkey.
The Night Monkey suit. That one, yeah.
This movie falls apart almost completely when you look at the plot.
So let me tell you one thing I hated about this movie, because I don't hate this movie in general, but one thing I did hate about the movie is I didn't like the fake out Mysterio. Like, I thought that was really dumb. That was my biggest issue. And look, I know it's on brand for the character, right? I get that, but I just had so many issues with that. It felt like the whole Mandarin thing all over.
Well, I mean, what's his plan? Like, he's gonna fake the world into thinking that he's the next Iron Man or the next like type of big superhero, and then when a big threat comes, he's just gonna die and get embarrassed. That's his big plan. Like, he's not gonna be able to do anything if an actual big threat arises.
No, but I'm saying like his for me, I didn't like his story basically.
No, I didn't either. I like Jake Gyllenhaal, but like.
Yeah.
Not only does
the suit look great, the Mysterio suit was great.
Not only does his goal not make any sense, but this is now like the 7th or 8th time in the MCU that you've had a villain motivated because of scorn for Tony. It's like, do we really have to keep doing this over and over and over again?
One of the many reasons I love this movie so much is I think Mysterio is the best villain we've had in a Spider-Man movie.
Do you want to like give a quick like reason why?
Like,
you don't have to, like,
I remember like there was the scene where he was creating all the illusions and like Peter was just like getting the crap beat out of him because he couldn't see what was happening in front of him. And then you know, it was just amazing to look. Like I was like, this is great. This is great. Like this. I can't tell you. And this film, you and I talked about this before, Eric. This film is one of the biggest victims of revisionist history. Because when this movie came out, everybody adored this film. Like everybody was like, this movie's so great. Everybody was talking about the ending with J. Jonah Jameson revealing his secret. Everyone was all over this movie's balls. And now suddenly everyone acts like, oh, that one sucked. I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? You liked it a couple of years ago.
That's true. I will agree with that.
I don't think there's any movie on this list I like hate. Like I
don't hate any of these movies. No,
I think they're all solid. I think this is
Eric?
a solid.
I hate Amazing too.
That's the Eric, you don't, because I have you on video saying Spider-Man 3 is one of the worst films you've ever seen.
No, I do think it's bad, but I don't hate it. Like if somebody came over and said, "Let's watch the Raimi trilogy," I'd sit through it again. Like I wouldn't turn it off or anything like that. But there are movies that I hate that I will never watch again. There's some that, like, if it came on, I would leave the person's house for sure, 100%.
It is interesting seeing Mysterio's consequences. Like 2 movies later, and he's still kind of fucked up his whole life.
True. That is true. Look, if we're talking about like the impact of characters, Mysterio had big impact.
He's
on
up there. Yeah.
Spider-Man. Cartoon Post YT, $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the support. Not gonna lie, Spider-Man 3 had great themes in my opinion, like learning to forgive yourself. Okay.
One of the many great themes, along with pretty much every character in the movie battling some form of addiction.
Yeah,
So-
I will agree with that. I think that's fair. Like I said, I don't hate it. I just don't. It's like out of all the Spider-Man movies, it is the one that I like the least. It's not a great movie for me.
It does
Hey,
have one of my favorite scenes in any Spider-Man movie.
What's that?
The Peter strut.
That's
The Saturday
yeah.
Night Fever strut. I really enjoy the crap out of that.
I mean, while we're on the topic, Eric, you want a hot take?
What's that?
I think I've probably said this, but I much prefer this film's take on Venom than what Tom Hardy did in his movies.
In the long run, I agree with you. In the short run, I did enjoy Venom 1. Like I thought
mean,
Venom 1 was a good movie,
well-
but I didn't
well,
like the other 2 movies.
The hilarious thing that I always see people complain about, they say, oh, Topher Grace is too small to be Eddie Brock. Topher Grace is 5'11". Tom Hardy's 5'9", and no one complained. Like, which way?
So
You didn't like Venom Last Dance?
no.
No.
Oh, I loved that one. That was my
So
favorite of the 3.
Let me tell you what broke me from Venom. It's a really simple thing, but it broke me. It completely broke me. In the second movie, Venom goes to a rave.
Yep.
Quite literally, Venom's weakness is loud noises, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm out. It didn't make any sense. That entire thing didn't make sense. He's extreme, like a telephone chime at a high volume would fuck with him, but he's going to a rave and dancing and talking on the microphone through loudspeakers. It didn't make any sense.
Speakers with reflective sound everywhere suddenly just not hurting him.
Yeah.
Second one was the weakest of the 3. But,
Yeah. Well, the problem is I couldn't get into the third one because we had that second one that brought the whole thing down for me. So that's why
I would recommend watching it again. The scene, I think that the scene where Venom and Mrs. Cheng dance together,
Mhm.
that's
Okay,
my
yes.
favorite scene in the entire trilogy.
Okay, yeah, I will give you that. That's a good scene. I do think that the battle at the end of the third movie is the best one we've had in all the Venom movies, but I just don't like the inconsistency in the storytelling. So, but all right, so number 7, I know Darren was saying he's just going to keep saying Spider-Verse, so I guess it's going to be one of the Spider-Verse movies. At this point, I don't think I disagree with him. I think the next one has a good. Darren, are you still sticking about Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
I have a shrewd idea about what the next one might be, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to be right.
All right.
You know what?
Well,
I'm gonna change it up. Let's
okay.
say No Way Home. Let's say No Way Home.
You're gonna put No Way Home at 7? Okay. All right. I'm gonna say it is Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
The first one.
I would, at this point in the list, I would probably put just to like compare it. Hold on, let me look at mine. My number 7 is Across.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what we got. Across. Okay, there we go.
I switched. God
You
damn
did.
it.
You did switch. I did say.
manifested it.
I did say it's probably going to be one of those, but I thought for sure it was going to be the first one. But to be fair, I think the first one is more well received than the second one.
I think the first
So-
one's much better.
I understand that. I love these movies though. Like the 2 movies together, and we're getting the final one soon. This is going to be, if they nail the third one, it might be one of the best Spider-Man trilogies of all time.
See, I was really disappointed in this one. I love the first one, but
Oh, and the second one, okay.
I was
All right.
extremely disappointed in this one.
Any specific reason or?
Well, for one thing, I think they lost, like they had a good group of characters in the first movie, and then none of them came back except for it was like Peter and Miles and Gwen, but Spider-Ham wasn't there, and the Spider Noir.
Is Spider-Ham one of your
there.
favorite ones?
I do love Spider-Ham. Yeah, he's awesome. But the group we came to love in the first one didn't come back.
Right.
And instead, it just felt like the most gratuitous collection of cameos. Like every second, it was like, look at that version of Spider. Oh, look at that. And it just got to the point where I'm like, all you're doing is showing us different versions of Spider-Man. Like it felt like it felt like what James Gunn calls cameo porn. Like I felt like this movie is just
Well, to be fair, the
Um,
movie is Across the
the-
Spider-Verse, right? I
Right.
mean, that's the name of it, right?
Right.
So I feel like
But-
no, your criticism is
The-
valid, but I'm saying like I think that's what they were selling in the movie.
We got the bad version of gratuitous cameos in that same month.
Wait, what
Sure.
what else came out that month? Oh,
Flash.
wait, the Flash movie.
Oh no, I've actually done a video on how the Flash movie does it right and this movie does it wrong.
Wow.
Because the Flash movie, it wasn't gratuitous.
Wow.
The Flash movie, it was necessary to the plot, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's short, it gets its point across, and then it's out of there. It's like just
There
a
we go.
moment, but it's a moment that the movie doesn't work without because
we
it's
go.
all about the collapse of the multiverse.
All right. Well, let's any ideas on what number 6 is going to be? Anybody?
Let's just say into.
Okay.
I think they put them back to back.
I'll say Homecoming.
Okay. I can see Homecoming. Let's see where they put it. Brand New
Oh.
Day is number
Damn.
6.
I do not agree with that.
Wow. They put
Damn.
Brand New Day under No Way Home?
Let me look. Brand New Day is my number 6.
Yeah, but we're talking about their list. So like I know you agree with them, but like the general public, do you think this is where it belongs at number 6? Like
No.
the general
No.
consensus? You think
I
people
mean-
would rank it higher?
I think most people
general?
would say it's the best of Tom's.
I've heard that, yeah.
My
Yeah.
second favorite of Tom's. I have issues with the movie, but I still really like it.
Okay, show of hands, who thinks this is the best Tom Holland Peter Parker we've got?
Just movie or like him as Peter?
Him as Peter.
I gotta see it again. Right now, my gut instinct is to say yes, but if I watch it again, I might put it behind far.
The
Him
reason why go ahead, Jake.
I was gonna say him as Peter. It's probably at its best in this movie. There are just other issues I have in this movie in regards to the plot and how certain other characters are utilized that brings it down.
That's fair. Remember, I don't know who was on with me when I did it, but there was a early teaser we got where we saw Tom walk into the
Yep.
studio,
Yep.
right? He had the mask off, but he was wearing the suit and he didn't really do much. And I immediately told you guys on that stream, I said, this is Peter Parker to me. I don't know what it was. It was the aura around him or what had happened, but something was like a light switch for me because I'd never been the biggest fan of Tom Holland as Peter. I've always liked Andrew, right? I even said that all the way up until this movie. And I'm going to say this now for the first time. Tom Holland, after this movie, is my favorite live action Peter Parker.
Ooh.
After this movie. I think he did such an incredible job in this movie, particularly the scenes with Ned and Zendaya. Like their scenes together, when we got them together, when we reached that point, it felt like there was a full story that had happened with his Peter. His moments with the Punisher were incredible. His moments with the time he did speak to Bruce in the movie, and we'll get into spoilers here in a bit because we're past the hour, but he got to those moments with that. All of that worked for me. And I think this was the best version of Peter Parker we've had in the MCU. And he is now my favorite Peter Parker after this movie.
All right.
I
agree.
just,
I agree.
He is. I think after this movie, he might have moved up to my number 2.
well, your number 1 is always going to be Toby.
Right. And I love
I'm the same.
Andrew as I know. I love Peter. Like I love Andrew's Peter in the movies he's in. And
Yeah.
I've seen people argue that just from an acting standpoint, he might be the best actor that's gone about that role.
Yeah.
But like it's harder for me to put him higher just because we haven't seen as many layers to him.
Yeah.
So
Remy, we're going to open up spoilers as soon as we're done with this list because I have a lot to say about Brand New Day that I haven't had a chance to talk about because we got so hung up on one thing last time. I want to talk more about it. Lance says, am I your favorite black? No, you're not.
damn. Don't
My favorite.
Eric, be very careful with the next thing you say.
No. I'm just joking.
Anyone who doesn't know who my favorite black guy is doesn't know me at all.
So, well, a lot of people in the chat don't know you, Joe.
It's Mr. T.
Oh, right.
Always will be.
Oh, Serenity goes, Michael Jackson exists, Lance. Damn. Damn.
Damn.
Damn. That's crazy.
What? Wow, Darren. Colorful words.
All right. So now we got Spider-Man Brand New Day at number 6. I don't know where we go from here because this is definitely like the what the fuck for me, to be honest.
Where do we go from
So
here?
I'm going to say it's got to be Into the Spider-Verse or Homecoming at this point, right?
Yeah, what's left? I want to say, hey, what is this, 6?
Yeah.
What have we not done? We haven't done No Way Home. We haven't done Homecoming.
Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2
Into
haven't
the
appeared.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I'm going to say No Way Home is our next one.
Okay. All right. Into the Spider-Verse at number 5.
Jesus. Ugh.
Man,
It barely got into the top 5.
fuck
barely.
animation, I guess.
I mean, I get it, I guess. Like,
Do you?
I mean, at this point, they're all good movies. So, like,
That's
I'm
true.
Not gonna
That's
be,
true.
I'm not going to be like, how dare you put it above Homecoming, which is a great movie, and like Spider-Man 2, which is also a great movie, and so
I think that just kind of shows how lucky we've gotten with Spider-Man movies.
No, look, but see, that's the other thing, and I want to throw this out there while I'm thinking about it. This is why people go to see Spider-Man on opening weekend, because more times than not, even the ones that are just meh to most people are good movies, right? Amazing Spider-Man 2 still did good at the box office. It didn't break $1 billion, but it did really well.
It still made like $770 million. So
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, that is successful. And that's the lowest earning Spider-Man movie. And a lot of people don't know this little tidbit, but for the longest time, Spider-Man 3 was the highest earning Spider-Man movie until
Oh, that's
Far From
crazy.
Home.
You're right. That is crazy. Let's not talk about that.
Until Far From Home made $1 billion.
Okay, so now we're in the top 4. This gives us Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, No Way Home, and Homecoming.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, in any world that makes any sense, it has to be Homecoming.
Yes.
This
world does not make sense.
I like Homecoming more than No Way Home.
Oh, so you'd put No Way Home next then?
I would.
Just say it.
I don't know. I think this list is whack. Right? I think they're probably going to put like Spider-Man 1 here or something like
Right. Okay. All right. Let's see.
I'd put No Way Home next.
Okay.
That's me.
I would too. On mine.
Right.
Yeah, out of those.
Let's
four,
see what we
my
got.
least favorite.
Homecoming
All right.
is number
all right.
4.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay. So now we've reached a point where, look, I like Homecoming. I think it deserves to be high. I would probably put Brand New Day higher than Homecoming at this point, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Homecoming is good, and Michael Keaton's really good in the movie. But I would say now, with the 3 that we have left, okay, I feel like they're either going to put Spider-Man 2 or No Way Home at number 1. So I feel like the next one has to be Spider-Man.
Yeah. I would hope.
And I'm going to say they'll put No Way Home at number 3.
You think so?
I think they're going to put No Way Home at number 1. I think just because of the like nostalgia.
The fact that it's got all of them in one
Yeah.
movie. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see where they
Even
go.
If I disagree.
No Way Home is number 3.
All right.
All right.
So Rain
Man.
Man. Okay.
Man, I need to like keep one with these predictions, apparently.
Or you have the page open in front of you and you're looking at it right now.
I mean, I think this is just
My
your
hands
list,
are on
Jake.
this, Eric.
It's just your list, Jake, outside of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
This is
So-
not my list at all.
So I really enjoy No Way Home. I watched it again the other day before I went to see Brand New Day, and I think it's a fun movie, and I do enjoy No Way Home. I don't understand why it's ahead of some of these other movies, to be honest. It's a little weird that it is, but we got it at number 3. So now we are trying to figure out what they got at 1 and 2. In a world where things make sense, Spider-Man 2 would be the number 1 movie. However, we know that the Variety article world doesn't make sense. So it's a high probability that they put Spider-Man 2 at number 2 and Spider-Man 1 at 1. But I'm going to argue that Spider-Man 2 is the better movie.
So I'd be happy
I would
with
agree.
I'd be happy with the winning placement either way, it looks like.
Yes, you
Yeah.
like both of them. So,
Yeah,
all right. Let's see what
I'm
we
fine
got.
with either. I'm fine with either.
Oh my God. I do not agree
This
with
is your
this
list, Jake. This is just your list.
at all. I do not agree with this at all. So that means Spider-Man, the very first one,
Yeah,
is number 1.
I don't hate it. I don't agree, but I don't hate it.
I don't mind putting Spider-Man 1 at 2 or 3, but putting it at 1 is crazy to me.
I think it's made not like 5, maybe.
Like, I could see the argument for, look, this to me, if we're talking about perfect Spider-Man movies, like if there was a movie where you said you want to show, you get the chance to show people one Spider-Man movie and one only, I would put this movie on. This is the one that I would watch because it's the one that I feel like is the best. Like, it's got that old school vibe to it. The special effects are really good, even now in 2026.
That train fight is still one of the best.
Yeah, it's still one of the greatest things. I think it's a really good individual storyline for Peter in this movie. I just don't think this one is as strong as the second one, in my opinion.
I agree.
So now, do we do the crazy thing where we compare like our own letterbox images?
If you want. If anybody wants to do it, we can do it.
I don't know. I feel like it might be just crazy enough to be entertaining.
By the way, while everybody's getting their list pulled up, you can just share the screens if you want. We have 3 out of 5 super chats in Reloaded, and we are 1 out of 5 in debunks. If we want to pick one of the things off this list, we need 2 more super chats of any tier in Reloaded or 4 more in debunks. It's any level, so the lowest level super chat still counts.
I just sent you mine, Eric.
Okay. It says here, did you hear the grifters trying to reframe Madam Web as the lefties only hated it because of Sydney Sweeney? Sydney Sweeney was one of the best parts of that movie.
Which isn't saying much.
No, but she fought to put them in costumes. We might have even seen them in costumes if it wasn't for Sydney Sweeney. It's wild. All right. Let's see. Jake sent over.
Damn, I'm wearing the wrong shirt. Damn, do I need to go change?
All right. Let's see here.
I am prepared to defend any option, by the way.
All right. Let's go with Joe first, and then we'll do Jake because I gotta blow Jake's up. All right. So here's Joe's list. So Joe has Amazing at 2, or bottom, not 2, at 11. Spider-Man 3 at 10. Amazing Spider-Man 1 at 9. That is that's Across the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah. And then you have, is that No Way Home? Okay. Yeah. And then you have Into the Spider-Verse. So the Spider-Verse movies didn't even make top 5 for you. Neither one of them.
It did until Brand New Day came out.
Okay.
Then it dropped to number 6.
Okay, gotcha.
I did. Somebody months ago, somebody on Twitter saw my list and said, putting Into the Spider-Verse at number 5 can only be racism. And I'm like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
What does that even mean?
I guess because I didn't think, I don't know. But I was told I was racist for having it at number 5.
Oh, okay. Well, now it's at number 6, so I guess you're no longer racist. Spider-Man, is that the first one? At number...
No, yeah, that's the original.
Number 5. 4 is Homecoming, then Far From Home, then Brand New Day, and then Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
So Brand New Day is your second favorite now.
I'm on the fence. If I see it a second time, it could drop to number 3 behind Far From Home. I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning towards that. I liked it. I really liked it. So I don't know. I gotta see it a second time though.
All right. And we have, I believe this is Darren's now. So Darren put, all right, that's Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
You put Far From Home at number 10?
I do. Yeah.
Wow.
But in a list where I really like all these movies. Like even Spider-Man 2, I think is a fun time.
Again, it's like getting a box of like candy and you like all of them and you're just ranking the ones based on the order that you'd eat them in. Amazing Spider-Man number 9, Spider-Man 3 at number 8, No Way Home at number 7. Okay, that's interesting. Spider-Man 1 at 6. So Spider-Man 1 wasn't even in your top 5. That's pretty interesting.
It's like 5 and 6 swap for me on any given day.
Homecoming at number 5, Brand New Day at number 4, Spider-Man 2 at number 3, and then you have beyond at 2 or across at 2 and into at 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to share Jake's.
Wait, Jake,
file
did you
here.
steal my profile?
Wait, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Did he what?
Hold on, Jake. Go back.
What are you doing?
I didn't do that shit.
It's because I was hosting Party Nation earlier.
Oh. Go back, Jake. Hold on, go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're still
Yeah.
under my account. Okay, that's why.
Way.
All right, so here's Jake's list. He's got Spider-Man
Okay.
Far From Home at dead last. Dead last.
Yep.
Wow.
I have so many issues with that movie, but I still like parts of it.
Amazing at number 10. Amazing 2 at 10. Homecoming at 9.
Jake.
I like Homecoming, but compared to the ones above it, I just don't find myself going back to rewatch it as much.
Amazing 1 at 8. Across at 7. Brand New Day at 6. No Way Home at 5. Let me scroll up here so we can see the other ones. Into the Spider-Verse is number 4. Are these in the order they were released?
No.
So
No, they are. Spider-Man 1 is 1, Spider-Man 2 is 2, and Spider-Man 3 is 3.
Oh, those
So,
two.
Yeah.
so clarification. On any given day, those top 3 could be interchangeable.
Right.
And yes, I had to go change.
It's really funny because you have all the Raimi stuff in the top, and Darren has all of the Spider-Verse stuff in the top. That's pretty funny.
Oh, I know. Me and Darren go back and forth constantly about our disagreements on those.
All right. So, seeing some rankings in the chat. Some of them look interesting. Chris here. Spider-Man 3 at 10. Amazing Spider-Man at 2. Far From Home 8. Homecoming 7. Amazing Spider-Man 1 at 6. Spider-Man at 5. No Way Home at 3. Or No Way Home at 4. Spider-Man 2 at 3. Into the Spider-Verse at 2. And Across the Spider-Verse at number 1.
Fair.
There we go.
Anthony just said, "Oh hell no, Spider-Man 3."
That's funny. Screwface says if we're ranking Mine Across Spider-Verse Into the Spider-Verse, oh wait, the 2 Spider-Verse movies are at the bottom. Brand New Day, No Way Home, Spider-Man 2, Far From Home, Spider-Man, Homecoming, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Amazing Spider-Man.
Maybe he said it backwards. Maybe
Is
he
that
meant, like,
backwards?
maybe he meant like the ones he
I
said
was going to
first.
say that seems like it has to be reversed to me, unless no shade at all, but all right. With that being said, though, we are going to start talking about Brand New Day kind of openly because I feel like at this point we are after 12 o'clock. It's almost been a full week since the movie was released, and to be quite honest, like Joe was talking about on Thursday, some of the bigger spoilers, at least the biggest one, is already pretty much out there. So we're going to talk about it kind of openly because I want to talk about the X-Men in the MCU because we have a list of like rumored and confirmed people playing X-Men in Marvel. And I wouldn't be surprised if D23 we get some sort of announcement. Maybe not for everybody, but for some of them. So before we get into that, hold on one second. Where's it at? Chris, you can duck out if you want. There are going to be spoilers in this conversation for sure. Joe's jumping out. All right, Joe, we'll see you later. Make sure you check out Crazy Joe Adventures, everybody.
Oh yeah.
And sleep good, Joe.
Thank you. Work in
ya.
the morning, but I'll try to stay till the bitter end on Thursday night.
Okay, sounds fine. So I'm just giving everybody sort of a heads up. We are going to be talking about spoilers for Brand New Day. Okay. Well, Chris, I really want to talk about the X-Men, but we have to get through some of the Brand New Day stuff first because it's going to lead into like what the X-Men discussion, right? So this is actually one of the topics that we one of the topics at one, which was discuss the X-Men future in the MCU. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to knock this off the list because this was one from a couple weeks ago, and we're going to talk about it tonight. So this is one of the things that you guys voted on. All right, so here we go. First time I've talked about it on stream. It was rumored that Sadie Sink was going to be playing Jean Grey. I made several statements about how I didn't want that to happen, but I didn't mind Sadie Sink playing Jean, and I wasn't going to judge the movie as a whole because I didn't want to see that character in the movie. And I didn't. I gave the movie like an 8.5 or a 9. So there was no,
what I gave it to.
Yeah, there was no judgment on the movie because, to be quite honest, when we get the reveal in the movie, right? Because, and by the way, the audience at my theater, almost everyone gasped when the reveal happened.
Oh,
there was audibly gasped in my audience.
There was dead silence in my theater when it happened.
Yeah, there were people that gasped in my audience, in the audience that I was in. But it has been revealed that Sadie is in fact Jean Grey. So she is going to be our Marvel girl, Phoenix, whatever ends up happening in the MCU.
You know how long it's been since she's been called Marvel Girl? Good Lord.
I know, but yeah.
Yeah,
so that's true. Yeah.
They put her in that Marvel Girl costume, and I was happy. Man.
And as I said back then, I still do not like her being in the film as this character because of what it means for the X-Men. And we'll talk more about that when we get to that point. What I did enjoy was I think Sadie was one of the highlights of the movie. Like, her acting just goes to show that her quality of acting in Stranger Things translated well into movies. And we're seeing this a lot. Yeah. We had Indy and other actors that come from these TV shows that go into movies, and it ends up not being just a one-off thing. They actually end up being even better than they were in the original thing that we met them in.
And then it causes fights online, whereas saying, "Oh, you saw her in this, but real fans saw her in this." I'm like, get fucked.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit. But tomorrow's video on my Reloaded channel, I'm going to talk about her pretty extensively because I do have still a lot of issues. And I know, look, last week I was fighting for my life about this, but I'm seeing a lot of people that agree with me. I know a lot of people said they weren't, but there's a lot of people online that agree with my take on this whole Jean Grey thing.
What?
And about the fact that I think it sets up a really weird foundation for the X-Men. Were you here when I talked about it on Thursday, Jake?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know how much I went into it on Thursday, but I don't like the idea that we have, and again, we can talk about it here, but I'm going to make a video about it tomorrow. I don't like the idea that mutants were discriminated against in the comics based on the idea that they could be dangerous. And then you had the X-Men who were not dangerous, and you had the Brotherhood who were dangerous, and the X-Men were fighting every day to prove that, hey, we're not like them. Now we have a character in the MCU that has been introduced as dangerous. And not only dangerous, but the intent was there with her character as well. So I don't like that because the switch to Dark Phoenix it hits so hard because Jean doesn't normally do those things. Mm-hmm. So now we have a Jean Grey that already has the capacity to put people in harm's way.
Can I push back on that take, like that part of it in particularly? I think they could make this hit even harder now, right? If we see her here, which is at such a low point and willing to do these things, and if her arc is about growing and finding herself and all her friends and family realizing how good of a hero she became since doing these awful things, when the switch happens, it's almost like, oh no, you went back to where you started. You grew so much. Don't go back to where you were. Look at where you've come and how far you've progressed. And again, like I do get you to a certain point. Like I am, again, like I said.
So you know what? Screw the video tomorrow. I'll tell you. I will just go through. Okay. I'm not even going to worry about it. Right. So let me tell you why I have an issue with this, and I'm going to be very specific about it. So when we first interact with who we find out is Jean Grey later, she's driving a tank down a busy street with no regard for anybody at all. The tank is loaded up with explosives, and there's a woman driving that is being mind controlled by Jean Grey. Okay, so when we get to the end of that, when Spider-Man manages to stop it, she had every intention of detonating those bombs in an area where anybody could have been hurt, including the woman in the tank. So, and look, even if the woman would have gotten out, she would have not remembered doing it and then been arrested for terrorism because Jean wouldn't have been caught. It would have been this woman.
I saw a thing today just quickly that somebody talked about how the whole like Spider-Man MJ swinging sequence, or he's like taking her to that spot. That, and this is, in my opinion, this is a little bit of a reach. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but they're saying that whole swinging sequence should have been a giveaway because every time she swung with Spider-Man in the past, she was like afraid or scared, and this time she was dead silent and calm. I don't know how I feel about that necessarily.
Oh, you mean about remembering who he was or something, or not remembering him?
Like that MJ's calm demeanor in that scene.
Oh, that it wasn't her in his arms. Right.
Gotcha. Should have given away that it was Jean.
Look at the very next scene of them swinging. Like she's screaming at the top of her lungs.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of confirms.
Maybe. But I want to be clear here with everybody as I go through this. The movie isn't a bad movie. Remember, I've been defending this movie. I also think we have to detach our love for something from the reality of it a lot of times. So I understand that people love this idea of Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. I do too. I like her. I think she's going to make a great Jean Grey, right? I totally agree with that. But we start out with her either letting someone else, some innocent woman, take the fall for murdering people with explosives, or she was going to blow the woman up in the tank with the explosives as well.
Sure.
It's really hard for me to root for someone that's doing that regardless of the reason why. And then in that same scene, we see Peter stop the Punisher from using those kinds of weapons because Peter doesn't respect when you put people in harm's way.
Sure.
I mean, think about like all the characters in the MCU that have become fan favorites but started out down really villainous paths. We weren't rooting for them then. We are now.
Jake, the problem is you cannot judge a movie based on what something is going to be. You have to base it on the movie that you watched.
Yeah, I know. And I just imagine
So Jean could be the best character in the X-Men movie, but that's not the movie we're talking about.
I just think in a couple years down the line, we'll look back at her evolution probably a little bit differently than we do now, because right now, this is all we have.
So what I'm saying is, can we not have a conversation about who she was in the movie?
No, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'd like to stay on that because, yeah, I agree with you. Maybe in a couple years we will love her, but that's not really where we're at right now.
She was a villain in this.
Yes, 100%.
And I think that's kind of where I'm at in this conversation. Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle of where most people are.
But I've got a broader thing to talk about. So no. I'm saying we're fine. Like there's a broader conversation to talk about, right? So she does all this, and she's doing it intentionally. And I think to pass it off like, oh, she was just emotional, I don't think that's fair to her, because I think it's very clear she knew what she was doing in the movie, right? So she gets. But that's the big issue I have with it. That's like, I understand it's an adaptation of Jean, but I'm talking about in the movie, like we get to the rooftop, she's willing to have a man drop himself off the roof, not knowing if Peter's going to save him or not. What happens if his web shooter didn't work? What happens if he can't get there in time? She had no idea if that guy was going to survive or not, and she did it anyway. Then she threatens Peter to go after MJ, his loved one, after we're supposed to feel emotional about her because she lost her sister. So how am I supposed to feel bad for someone whose main story arc is her sister was arrested and held against her will when that same person is willing to do that to Peter? How do I feel sorry for that person? She was threatening his loved one, the same thing that happened to her. And she's supposed to be someone we're connecting with and feeling sorry for, because she's not supposed to be the real villain of the movie. But if you think about it, her sister and her were sitting in the park, mind controlling people against their will, making them do things, probably robbing people, probably stealing from people by mind controlling them that whole time. What happens if they jumped in the mind of someone who's sitting with their loved one and all of a sudden that person acts weird? What happens if they give them a seizure because of it? We don't know what these things do. And the problem is that we're setting up this foundation about Jean as a redemption character. We get to the end of the movie and there's no accountability for what she did. Peter lets her leave. And keep in mind, she allowed Bruce Banner to take the fall and be locked up in a psychiatric hospital. She didn't take accountability for that. Bruce Banner did. She was going to have the Punisher shoot someone in the head on her behalf. She was going to let him take the fall for that. It wouldn't have been her fault. This is not a Jean Grey that I recognize. And I love her in the movie. I think she does a great job. But moving beyond this, this makes her someone that is willing to murder people and get away with it. Peter would not let her leave the city like that. He would not be like, oh, she helped me. What is that?
I mean, he's shot in a hospital. Like
but the writers decided to just have her go without any accountability. That's the reality of it. Like, there was no accountability for what she did. She allowed other people to take the fall for her. This is the character we have going into the X-Men. Right? So we want to talk about the future of the X-Men, right? We want to talk about where that looks like. How do we justify Professor X picking up people that are misunderstood, that have accidents, that are shunned because they didn't do anything wrong? They were discriminated against because they didn't do anything wrong. How do we justify that when he has somebody in his group that willingly went out and committed all these acts of violence? And there's no way you can I
said Wolverine.
But Wolverine is not Jean Grey.
I know, but that same example I feel like applies that you just gave. Like a character that willingly goes out and will do some bad things.
So why does everybody keep comparing Jean to people that are manipulated? That's a weird thing. Like, compare it to Wanda, compare it to Wolverine, compare it to Winter Soldier. These are characters that were manipulated. Weapon X program manipulated Logan.
I wasn't even referring to just Weapon X. Like, he's still a very morally gray character outside of that. But even on the Wanda side of things, when you
that's part of his stuff, it's part of his story in the comics. So in the comics, yes, I understand that. We're talking about Jean Grey in this movie and the establishment of her character in the X-Men. We don't know what Wolverine is going to be like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We have the Hugh Jackman one, but we don't know what the Wolverine's going to look like.
Well, we don't know what the X-Men are going to look like, so...
Well, we kind of do because we have some of the casting for it, but I'm saying
that part, yeah, we just don't know how they're going to be depicted.
But I think it's very disingenuous to go, well, look what Wanda did. Comparing what Wanda went through to Jean in this movie is crazy.
I mean,
it's crazy to me.
It's two completely different circumstances.
It absolutely is, but I hear the comparison all the time. People say, well, look at Wanda. By the way, Wanda sacrificed herself as a villain because she was never fully redeemed.
She was also
keep in mind.
Villain.
Well, she lost her brother. She lost her love interest. All of these things happened to her. Then she saw her love interest brought back to life and then murdered again in front of her before she went and committed all these acts against people with the Darkhold and then Multiverse of Madness. Wanda was never fully redeemed. And that was a decade for Wanda. Winter Soldier has never been fully redeemed. These characters have never been fully redeemed. So it's really hard for me to look at that and go, you know what? I think this is good for Jean because we have a bunch of examples of characters that have not been fully redeemed.
How do you feel about Loki?
Well, Loki, are you talking about, Loki's dead. The main Loki is dead. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people love all these characters like Wanda or Bucky because they see them as like fully good to choose people right now, but they're layered, they're interesting, they're conflicted, they've got a lot of different parts to them.
But let me tell you what, so to answer your question, Darren, with Loki, the Loki 2 that we get, it's fine for him to have redeemed himself in the TVA, but I think the general people would probably still think he's a villain.
Sure.
Because he hasn't done anything that they know, right? The mutants are always an uphill battle. We know for a fact that mutants get discriminated against forever and ever and ever and ever and ever in the comics, right? So we know that's going to happen. I was hoping, because of the way Fox bumbled the X-Men, that we would get something that felt a little bit more like the actual X-Men that we got in the comics, or at least something similar to that. This version of Jean could not be more different than the Jean Grey from the comics or the cartoons.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there is a world though. Like I feel like Jean, and you're way more qualified to talk about this than I am, obviously. But I feel like I'm okay with Jean having a little bit of that in her before Phoenix. Do I think maybe they took it a bit too far? I do agree. Like I think the scene I keep going back to is when she pushes the guy over the bridge and he gets hit. He gets hit by.
Oh, the guy that get hit by the car too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like it is little scenes where I'm like, if I was doing it, maybe I would have lessened back on it a little bit. But I do kind of like the idea that like there is a little bit of darkness in her, and she kind of suppresses it because she'll meet Charles and because she is with the X-Men, and then some of that spark will come out later, with Phoenix and Dark Phoenix and stuff like that, blah blah. So I don't know. I
want to say first, you can continue.
Yeah.
I reject the victimization angle because that makes it a one-dimensional character. I don't want a one-dimensional Jean Grey that just wants revenge.
She also knew what she was doing. So
Sure.
Yes.
Again, she is fully a villain in this movie. She is the villain of this movie. I'm just not against you redeeming her in the future. Like I am.
And that's where I'll concede with you guys. Like I'm not against the idea that we may see some redemption arc with her, right? But I feel like we've already gone through this with Wanda. Like if you want to talk about like a redemption arc, Wanda started out as somebody who was affected by Tony, and a lot of the actions she did in Age of Ultron were because of her being upset by Tony. And then we watched her continue to get abused by life throughout her time in the MCU, right? I don't want Jean Grey to be that character. That's not who I want her to be. I don't want a Wanda ×2 where she loses Scott or she loses Logan or I don't want to deal with that. What I really wanted was I wanted to see an X-Men movie where we meet some characters, whatever the lineup was going to be in the beginning, and we get to follow them and get a juxtaposition between mutants who are hated for existing and mutants who are actually evil, because then we get to see two sides of it. Our first real X-Men ever introduced in the MCU is someone that is willing to murder people.
Oh, I mean, there's also the fact, too, which I know you might consider this a bit of a cop-out, but there's also the large likelihood that, the reboot will rewrite some of these characters' mannerisms and histories.
Okay, well, let's talk about that, right? Let's move in that direction. So we'll pull up the cast list in just a second, but I do want to talk about the idea of a reboot. First, Staggervore, $4.99 super chat. And unfortunately, Jean is the reason Bruce Banner ended up where he is now. Yeah, that's the thing that really makes me angry. Like, he's in a psychiatric ward being locked up for turning into the Hulk when that was 100% Jean's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no accountability for it. That really is the thing that makes me the most angry, guys. Like, I would have loved to have seen some sort of, like, anything at the end of the movie. But she just disappears into the sunset.
I feel like that is like she's on the run, right? Like she's not like, oh, she's an Avenger now. Like,
but she leaves as a villain though. Like she's on the run as someone that never redeemed. Like her saving Peter, great, but Peter was there because of her. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry that you got stabbed. I'm the one that brought the knife. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing.
I feel like this is chapter 1 of her character though. Like I feel like
Two things then. Does the movie serve Spider-Man by establishing Jean in a way where it's just to set up what she's going to do later on? Because I've heard that argument about the movie. Like the big criticism of the movie is that Jean being there is great, but Jean is also servicing the larger X-Men story in a Spider-Man movie.
I think still serves Peter though. Like I think their arcs in very different ways contrast each other, right?
Yeah.
Because like her
you can
arc
accomplish
is
both
about
at once.
loneliness and is about not having anyone in her corner. And so I think Peter, and again, in a very different way, Peter's not going to pull people out of a moving vehicle and, he's not going to do that shit. But like, I do feel like that scene at the end when Peter is able to be that like kind of mentor figure for her and be like, hey, it's going to be okay. Let's do this. Like, I think that's some of the most Peter Parker things.
Can I also, so I love that scene, by the way, but I want to point out that it's really weird because they couldn't say the term mutant because it's a Sony movie, right? That was the whole deal, is apparently Sony wasn't allowed to use the term mutant because it's not part of Spider-Man's original OG characters or whatever. So they didn't have, so we'll hear the word mutant later on, I guess, in the MCU, right?
I also,
go ahead.
I also think that works. Like, mutants aren't a thing here yet, right? We've had two mutants up until this point. One was Miss Marvel, where they've never said it in Miss Marvel, and then Namor, which is a separate thing entirely. So like, again, I don't think this is a world where like Charles Xavier is there. And like,
That's what I said.
like,
Several people told me they're like, well, he probably does. And I'm like, I don't think he does. I don't think this is a world with like the school setup and everything. I don't think that's the case.
I think it's just her.
One of the other things is that this was the part that I had trouble with. If mutants aren't a thing, then what was the catalyst for her parents to be discriminatory towards them? Because
maybe just because they were abnormal, then maybe not necessarily mutants.
But in this world, people with powers are not necessarily like shunned that way, right? That's not, we don't see that typically.
I mean, Wonder Man was hunted down for just having powers. Miss Marvel was hunted down for just having powers. I mean, Battle of New York, and
but not by their family though, right? Not by their immediate family.
I think every family would be different. Like,
so we're just to assume they kicked out both of their daughters, even though only one of them was really displaying like full on powers.
I mean, I don't want to pull this crazy, but like this happens in our world, Eric. People like kids are kicked out of their home every day.
Absolutely, but these are two kids that we don't. I mean, they weren't talking about any sort of discrimination they were experiencing, so their parents didn't even reach out and go, "Hey, our kids have powers," blah blah blah, whatever. Like the reason why I'm saying this is there's no standard for that in the MCU. Like we don't see that with kids being abandoned that way. It's something that happens with the X-Men. It is something that happens with mutants, but we haven't really seen that in the MCU, right? That's not something we've seen. So I feel like that's another story that they could have touched on that it wasn't really discussed in the movie in a big way. It was just Jean and her sister. And we find it out in a very short scene. I don't know. I felt like they could have done more with that. You're right. It's like kids getting kicked out for different reasons do happen. But the problem with the movie was I don't think they articulated the real reason why. Like, I don't feel like they stuck the landing on it just that way. Because like we have kids getting kicked out because they're gay. Kids get kicked out because they're not in school. But those things are understandable because we know how it happens in the world. We have a point of reference with it. There's no mutants in this world. So there's no point of reference for like parents just shunning their kids on the streets because they have a power. Like we don't have that in the MCU. Like you brought up some good examples of kids. Like look at Ms. Marvel. Her family didn't shun her because she had powers. Sure. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I also feel like there's enough of an example of how powers in this world can be dangerous to come to that conclusion, right? Like you have the like Age of Ultron stuff where thousands died in that battle, and like Battle of New York. Like these are real things that I feel like, again, not a normal parent, not a good parent, obviously not, and like no good parent would kick out their kids, but like there are bad
but you know why that worked in the comics? Because they had a place to go, right? They would either go to be the Morlocks, or they would go to the school or something like that. They'd go to Brotherhood. There was always somewhere for them to go. In this movie, they were kicked out and they were just on the streets. There was no result of that except that, obviously Damage Control was trying to get her sister's powers or whatever, which by the way, I want to point out, and this is probably going to hurt a little bit, obviously, because I don't agree with the way they treated her sister. But her sister was like using her powers to rob people and stuff. Like that's how they were surviving. So it's like, I get it. That's the explanation why. But also when they picked her up, she was jumping in people's minds unconsensually. You know what I mean? Like, so I get it for her to be upset, but we're not talking about someone that wasn't doing anything wrong.
Sure.
You know,
she probably wouldn't have seen it that way.
There was a line from Jean being like, she was innocent. She was just kind of born or whatever. I would disagree, Kevin. Anybody who is jumping into my head without my consent is doing harm. I would agree.
I don't want people in my head without me saying it's okay.
Now, not worthy of death, right? Like they.
No. Like I said, I don't. Yeah, 100%. Like that.
Both wrong. Both people involved were both wrong,
right.
in my opinion.
But can you imagine you're sitting in the park and somebody is just jumping in your mind and getting your thoughts and your personal secrets and stuff? That's not right.
I mean, that's the plot of WandaVision, and she's also the villain of that
show. That's what I brought up, is that Wanda was someone who, after Age of Ultron, learned for a time that going into people's heads is not good. You shouldn't be doing that, right? It's one of the big discussions we have with Professor X. Like, one of the moral things about him is whether or not he should be doing it at all, because he sees it as one of those things that just isn't acceptable unless at like maximum risk, right? That's like talking about fighting the Brotherhood or something. But the average person, he doesn't like doing that in the comics. It's something that he doesn't do.
He also typically doesn't do it unless he's been given permission.
And
so,
sorry.
No, say Darren. So you're right. Yeah, perceived as a villain for sure. I'm just saying that like those things, we can't look at that and go like the idea to feel sympathetic for her. I can connect to her on the idea that her sister was taken from her and she wanted to get her sister back. I can understand that. But that to me doesn't justify all of the other damage that she did when she could have just told Spider-Man that they've kidnapped my sister.
I do agree that she was doing too much. I do think there are easier ways of getting what she wanted. Although I feel like I am glad she is as young as she is, because that gives me a little bit of pause. I'll be honest, teenagers, sometimes they're not the smartest. They're not.
I mean,
wait,
she's not.
Wait, how old is she supposed to be in the movie?
16 to 18 is what.
Okay,
and
that age.
Not only that, and I'm not saying this like excuses or justifies any of it, but whenever we have a thing where like we're doing something for our family members, we will often break moral rules to protect people. So
this is the thing. I think we're hand waving that too much. This wasn't her being emotional in the moment. This was weeks and weeks and weeks of damage and planning that she was doing.
I mean, I think the example I gave would still go under that umbrella.
So let me just be clear. Raise of hands in the chat. It is okay to attempt to murder people to save one individual.
No,
I'm not saying it's okay, but
that's the argument we're having about Jean Grey here is whether or not what she did was justified.
No.
The excuse is that her sister was kidnapped. That is not the justification for what she did.
I feel like it's a lot more black and white, though.
I'm just saying, that's how she rationalized it. That didn't necessarily mean it was okay.
No, but but see, this is the argument I'm having, right? I don't want Jean I'm not judging the movie on that. As you guys know, I want to keep reiterating this. So I'm not judging her in this movie on that. Like, I understand this was the story we were telling. I don't like the idea that the Jean that we are getting is one that did all of these things. I don't like that. You could have done it with Emma Frost. You could have done it with another character entirely. That would have made way more sense. Because Emma Frost is very similar to Wanda, where sometimes she's good, sometimes she's not, and she might be willing to do evil things. And she can do all the same things that Jean can do.
Sure.
In terms of telepathic stuff. So why pick Jean Grey? You could have done it with somebody that's already a Grey character.
I would.
So Kevin, please stop comparing Jean to someone like Magneto. Like quite literally, it's just not. These are bad faith comparisons.
Yeah, I don't really see the logic behind that comparison at all.
I'm kind of with that with like Wanda too. It's like people say, yeah, like Wanda did this, and I'm like, yeah, she did. She's also traditionally viewed as a villain sometimes. Like that is in her weapon control. Again, I'll be honest. I'm always very loosey-goosey when it comes to comics. Like, I am very down with changing the adaptation if it's good and if it's interesting and if it's unique. I also understand, though, being upset that it's Jean Grey, because that's a character with almost 100 years worth of comics that have such love and such compassion. And I think,
go ahead, Darren. Finish.
I think you choose Jean Grey because she's going to be the lead of the MCU going forward.
And
I think she's the
let me just reiterate here, right? I like Sadie in this role. I think she's going to do a good job with whatever she's given down the road. My criticism here in this movie is that we have a character that their storyline, we have to watch something else to see accountability. That's my issue, right? That's my problem. If you want to do all this stuff with her, that's great. Do what you want to do. It's an adaptation. I'm not a big fan of it because I feel like we've already treaded this water with another character. Like we've already done this with another character. And it feels very similar, right? It feels similar in the sense that we can head down almost that exact same path with them, and it'll take us a decade to get any sort of redemption for Jean Grey. And that means what? We're going to get Dark Phoenix right after that? So we're going to redeem her. She becomes Phoenix, then she immediately becomes Dark Phoenix, and then we deal with this all over again. It's just such a weird thing. Now, Destin, right? He said, and this is one of the things I do give him credit for. He said that he wanted a character like Jean Grey in the movie because he wanted to touch on that isolation that a lot of people have felt since COVID and the way the world has changed and things like that. And I think that was the right direction. Obviously, it's what made a lot of people connect with the movie. So whether I like Jean's story or not, the point is that the creative decisions behind the core of this film definitely resonated with people. And so I do appreciate that. I think that's good. And I think it was a good call on his part to go down that direction, for sure. So Dalton, I look, I know people feel very emotional about this. I get it. That's why I'm trying not to argue with people. I do not judge movies based on what the next thing is going to do. Right? I've already agreed and conceded that Jean could be fantastic in the X-Men movie. She might be fantastic in Doomsday. She might be fantastic in Secret Wars whenever we see her again. That's not the argument that I'm making. I don't like the way it was handled in this movie with no accountability in this film. But I understand that people like it, love it. Again, I ranked it very high. I keep having to do this because I think people are getting the wrong impression because of my issues with Jean. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think Sadie's fantastic in the role. I keep having to say this. I didn't like the way the movie wrapped up her story in the movie. That's the issue I have with it. Could they answer this down the road? I'm pretty sure they are, because she almost killed a bunch of people. So I guess it is going to be a storyline later on, unless Secret Wars changes everything. And that brings me to my next question. Would we like it if Secret Wars decided to just erase everything that happened in this movie in order to give her sort of an open pass in the X-Men?
Again, it depends on how they do it. Like I pitched last week, what I think would be cool is if it does erase it, but she still knows she does it, and she's almost with this like almost like a survivor's guilt kind of idea, where it's like I did these horrible things, and everyone says I'm the great hero, but I'm not. I did these messed up things. Like I think that could be cool. I think that could be a cool story.
I could see that working, and I have ran that idea through some other people too, and they think it could work something similar.
What's up, Big Fieldy? I wouldn't be so it would really annoy me if they didn't give some sort of accountability, whether it's her own personal accountability or not.
I agree with that.
We got some super. Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
I am with you with that. If they never address this again, I'm kind of with you. Right? Because I think that's bullshit.
So you're more of like hang a hat on it and see what happens later on. That's fair.
Again, I am completely fine with them changing some things around, but they have to address it. They can't be like I kind of think Wanda did that for like a second. Like she did that shit in like Age of Ultron, and then by Civil War we don't really address all of it. She's just like, oh, she's an Avenger now and she's great and she's awesome. It's like, what about all the murders that just happened?
They just
get back to it eventually.
Xavier with a $1 super chat supporting the stream and taking us to the goal in the Reloaded chat. So thank you guys so much for that. But he did donate, or they, sorry, did donate $5. Thought it was weird Peter wasn't frozen in the hand fight, but everyone else was, and then Jean was able to freeze him later when they met face to face. So I have a theory about this, and my theory is that Peter sort of allowed Jean in a little bit at the end, because he wanted her to see Aunt May and to have that conversation with her.
Because notice how he had control of himself when they were in that mental sequence.
Yeah. I think he sort of let her in. Now, as far as the telekinetic part where she was kind of holding everybody still, I don't really have an answer for that. But I'm assuming go ahead, Darren.
I think she wanted him to not be frozen. Like,
okay.
I think when you're lonely, I think she's kind of, as weird as it was, saw him as this kind of friend that she's been playing with over the last couple of days. And I think, I think in that moment she needed a friend.
Let me put this out there, and somebody can come in my room and slap me right now if they feel like it's too far here. But I do feel like, oddly enough, I do feel like, oddly enough, was it just me, and maybe it was just me, but were they trying to play up some sort of like...
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. I saw it and I was like, please tell me they're not feeding into that whole like, oh, it's a redhead like MJ kind of thing or
People
whatever.
online have already started yapping about that, and I'm like, shut up right now.
I think that's more of like a sister, like a brother sister.
That's a
dynamic,
fair.
if
Okay, that's a
anything.
real fair statement. Yes, I could see that for sure. But it would be very weird if they tried to do some sort of like,
especially
story down
since
the
she's
road.
like, she's canonically like a minor, right? So
well, not the next time we see her though. Like
So-
they could do it later on. It should be a little bit older.
So Eric, in case it wasn't clear the first time,
I took the slap. All right. We got a super chat from Forget Me Not 182. $5 super chat from Canada, all the way from Canada. Explaining why someone does something is not the same as defending it. Yeah, well, the same thing is not validating. And I've said this before. The reason why Jean did it is because of her sister, but that doesn't defend what she did. That's the difference. So I can understand why, but I don't have to say it's okay, right? Personally, I think it's okay what Jean Grey did was not okay. Personally, I think it's okay what Jean Grey did was not okay, and I'm excited to see more. So yeah, you're in that same. I'm assuming you're in that same spot that I'm in, where it's like, I'm not happy with the things she did.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the motivation, but I need to see later on, hopefully, in another movie or whatever, some sort of follow-up to all of it. That's where I'm at right now. And Darren, I think you're in the same spot.
Yeah.
And Jake, you're good though, right? You don't really have a big issue with it, or
I mean, there are things that like if they don't, at least acknowledge or resolve in future things, I'll be like, okay, then what was the point of doing it here?
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of going into it with an open mind.
Yeah. So this is go ahead, Darren. Go ahead.
I will say I do think the kiss was kind of an out of left field thing to me, because like I can like justify. I mean, not justify, but like I can be like, okay, she's doing these things to get what she wants.
God, I forgot about that.
The kiss with Peter, she's just fucking around.
Oh, that was yes. I forgot. Oh my God, Darren, I just had a really bad thought, and I'm going to zip it.
Oh no.
Because you reminded me of the possible canonical age of that character.
Yes.
And then
Eric,
so we're just
it would be in your best interest to stop.
I'm gonna skip. Kevin says here, Peter created devices. This is another big thing, is that we have these devices now that suppress mutant powers. And if you don't think that's ever coming back,
I don't know how I feel about Spider-Man being the catalyst for that.
That's another thing.
Down. Although he's also not the first. Like, look back to like Age of Ultron, not Age of Ultron, Civil War. Like, Wanda has a little like dampening thing on her neck when she's in like the prison cell. So someone had to have done it at some point. Although I do think they're going to use this opportunity to be like, yeah, Spidey.
I thought Wanda was just in a like strapped jacket so she couldn't use her hands.
There was at some point she had like a thing around her neck that was damaging her powers.
According to a Time article, Jean Grey is, like you said, Darren, between the ages of 16 or 18, so we don't know.
Yes, it's still
her
in the realm
age.
of uneasy. Like I just made a tweet about this, and like someone like underlined, it could be 18. That's still not good. What, isn't he supposed to be 26?
Yeah.
18 is still not a good age for a 26-year-old.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Like, listen, like 8 years doesn't make that big of a difference between 40 and 48. But between 18 and 26, yeah.
But let's just not even. That's a rabbit hole that we probably shouldn't even go down. Well, yeah, he was blipped. I forgot, Cameron. Yeah,
he
was blipped. Yeah, because he was blipped. He was gone for 5 years, so you have to take 5 years off of his.
It's still not a route I want to go.
Yeah.
Well, if everybody forgot him, was he blipped?
That's a really tough question, Jake, but we'll wait for that one. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to wrap things up here in a minute, but let's take a look at the X-Men list right now. And I think this is everybody, but if I forgot anybody, let me know. And then we're going to see what won the poll there. All right, so move that up in the corner. We have Sadie Sink as Jean Grey confirmed. This next casting is so good to me. Oh my God. When I saw this, I was like, please be true, because I love this actress. Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, confirmed. So those two castings, everybody, perfection.
Yeah. I'm for
Sadie
it.
as Jean, Samara as Emma.
Yeah, Samara's great.
Sign me up. Sign me up. Indy, so the Mystique is, I believe she said she wanted to play Mystique. I don't think that was the
I call bullshit.
confirmed on that one.
So I saw that interview clip where she's like, Mystique would be cool. I'm like, really?
Yeah. By the way, Mystique, I don't. So this might be a hot take. Mystique isn't a character that you see a lot as Mystique. She's typically doing other people. So doing other people. Pause on that. She's typically copying other people. Sorry about that.
I mean,
she's typically copying other people. So I feel like it's not a character that somebody would want to play, right? I mean, I don't know.
I feel like
we don't want another Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't know. I guess you could argue that she can just like always look young because she can shapeshift, right? But I always view Mystique as a little older, especially if we are doing the Nightcrawler Rogue stuff, right? That 97's been doing. Like, I would want someone that could be the mother of Rogue, or the mother of Night.
So you would want Mystique to be like slightly older, right?
In her 30s, 40s, hypothetically for me.
That makes sense. I wouldn't argue against that.
Because I mean, when you look at like the ages of like Mystique and Nightcrawler and stuff, going by the actors' ages in movies, you knew they were never going to do that with Jennifer Lawrence and Tobias. I can't remember the other one's name. But also, when you even go into the original series, like Alan Cumming and Rebecca Romijn, Alan Cumming's 8 years older than Rebecca Romijn, so they probably weren't ever going to do something like that either.
Yeah, that's fair. No, Charles Melton is Beast. I only really know him from Riverdale.
I was about to say, wasn't he like the second actor to play that jock character?
Mm-hmm.
And he was also in a show called Beef season 2, I think, right? Wasn't he on that? Mm-hmm. He was good in that, if I remember correctly. But when I first heard his name, I was like, oh, that's the Riverdale guy. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just kind of smirking.
So, and again, these are the unconfirmed ones. We'll find out for sure.
As
I guess
Beast, though,
yeah.
I can't see that working personally.
Here's the thing about Beast. He's going to be behind, hypothetically, CGI and special effects most 90% of the time.
It doesn't even really have anything to do with look. I don't see that actor pulling off Hank McCoy's eloquence.
Well, that's it. Can we scroll down to like the photo part of it? Can I see his face?
Yeah, hold on. Let me do that. He's right here.
It's also interesting because if it is him, we're doing young Beast, and I always kind of equate him to being a little older. I know he has to be young at some point, right?
Right. I fully believe that the majority of the X-Men we meet, with the exception of like some of the like slightly older characters, are all going to be relatively young.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Like, if he's playing a younger version, I don't mind him being a little less beasty to start off with. That makes sense?
I mean, they could even evolution it if they wanted to by having, like, a good amount of them be younger, but having, like, Wolverine, Beast, Storm, maybe a little bit on the older side.
I have a theory about Doomsday, the way it's going to end, but I'll save that when we're done discussing this. So, also, we have for Rogue, Kaylee Spaney, who was in Pacific Rim Uprising. She was also in Beef season 2 with Charles. She played opposite of him on that as well as Rogue. Does anybody remember her from anything? She was on Mayor of Easttown.
Is she the one in the middle?
Yeah.
She's been very fan casted. I've seen her fan cast for Rogue
Civil War. Yeah, she was in that Civil War movie too.
There's some like
not the MCU one.
Yeah, no, I know. There's some like I can't remember what the show even is or who this actress is, but there's like some, and Aaron might know this, but like there's some Disney Channel star that I always see being fan casted as Rogue from one of those shows. I couldn't tell you what her name is, but
as Rogue.
Yeah, like it's the same face I always see popping around.
The chat probably knows who you're talking about.
Probably.
Then we have Jamie Lawson as Storm. She was Bella in the Batman. She was in the Woman King. She was in the First Lady as a young Michelle Obama.
She's in the Batman?
I mean, yeah, she played Bella Real in the Batman.
Not sure I remember that character.
I don't know. I don't really remember her from that, but sure. I'm sure if she's fan casted in this in any way, people are probably happy with that. I'll have to look into some of her stuff. Then we have Drew Starkley as Cyclops, which is the bottom left corner there. He's from Outer Banks. And
Yeah,
the hate you get.
I was going to say, I recognize him.
I'll be honest, after X-Men 97, we need a really strong Cyclops. Like, we need somebody that can just nail that character. And I don't know a lot about Drew, so I'll have to
You
look into
need
him.
someone like whoever your Cyclops is hopefully going to lead the MCU. Like him and Sadie Sink, obviously, together.
Yeah.
Should
Well, I
hopefully-
mean, that's the power couple of the X-Men.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's better than, I was going to say, it's better than, and I'm not saying this because we know who Jean is now, but it's better than certain other fan casts I've seen for Cyclops. Cause,
Yes, there's one going around that I don't even want to bring up.
Well, I doubt we're talking about, I doubt we're talking about the same one, Eric, but for any Titans watchers, I saw people fan casting Brenton Thwaites.
Oh God, no,
Oh,
please,
no.
please.
I'm like, no.
That is actually one thing I'm very happy now that we know Sadie is Jean Grey, because we can now narrow down our fan castings. I've been seeing people name people in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s. I've been saying for years now. Clearly not. They're going younger.
They want people that can be in this for like a decade.
Yeah, we're casting.
Oh, Jamie was in Sinners. I do remember her now. Yeah, she'll do a really good job. She was great in Sinners. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have the one that's the most interesting, I think, which is Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister.
Be better as that than as Magneto.
Well, I saw Magneto first, and then it got switched over to Mr. Sinister.
And then they changed it to like Stryker at some point too. I'm like, make up your mind.
So I think because his name has been so heavily connected, he's playing someone, right? I feel like he's playing somebody.
Maybe.
We just don't know who it is.
Although we look back to Fantastic Forecasting, we saw his name around for Reed Richards for months, and
that's true. That is true.
It could just be they've asked him, and so people have his name. Like Kevin has said, they've asked him multiple times for roles, and he always says no. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, then we have to wrap it up. Bill Skarsgård as Professor X, as Xavier.
He's
Do we
also
see it? Do we not see it?
Every comic book movie casting for the last 10 years. Like, wasn't he almost our Lex? Wasn't he almost our Superman?
Yeah. He's been almost everything. According to this post, though, it says full cast expect to be announced at D23 this month. What are the odds on that? Do you think that we're going to see the whole cast announced?
I think it's likely.
Some, and I doubt all, but potentially some.
I think they at least have a title and a date at the very least, and maybe your Cyclops, your Jean, and something like that.
So Renee says the initial casting is that Driver is a villain, and then people started saying all these villain names. Okay, that seems
that makes sense.
Pretty likely. Cody here with a $5 super chat and a channel member. Thank you so much, Cody. Which, by the way, if you become a channel member of either channel, you get early access to at least 2 videos a week. Kaylee's actual Southern is actually actual. Kaylee's actually Southern and was born in Tennessee, so she's actually perfect for Rogue. Yeah, her accent is going to work for sure. It's not overly, like, it's not X-Men 97 Rogue, like, it's not that much twang in it, but she does, she does have a good voice for it, though.
I'm excited to move out of the goth era of Rogue, even though I do like that era for her. It's going to be cool to see.
I mean,
an actual Rogue, I guess, or more, I don't know.
I mean, Evolution's really the only time that they went into the goth era side of things.
No, we did Wolverine and the X-Men as well.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah. I don't know. She just wasn't as prominent of a character there.
That was very like The Craft, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like that kind of era.
Yeah.
So we're seeing Serenity says 70% chance. Reed is saying the same. Chris is saying 0. Chris is like 0. No chance at all.
I thought it was so funny that the Emma stuff came out Friday night. As soon as the movie came out, they're like, Emma Frost. And I was like, okay, all right.
I want to point out that, like, if the Emma thing being confirmed shows extreme confidence in this, like, new direction, right?
Yeah.
So I think, and I said this on my review video, I believe, for a Spider-Man Brand New Day, is I suspect more secrets in films for Marvel down the road. Because think about this, Thunderbolt's big reveal was that they're the new Avengers. And then they announced that in their promotional materials over the weekend when the movie is still in theaters, right? I think we need to have more of that not getting spoiled by production in their marketing until like at least the whole fucking cycle is done.
I mean, even if you look at the movie right before that, you had a film like Captain America Brave New World that mismarketed it to make it seem like a character like Red Hulk was going to be a big prominent force in the movie. He's in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that incorrectly marketed the movie. So
I'll be honest. I love Sam. I think that movie was always going to have trouble getting off the ground, to be honest, no matter what they did. Even if they could have put Spider-Man in that movie, and I think it probably would have only helped it a little bit. It's just so much drama around that movie.
I think if you retold the series a little bit, it would have worked a lot better as a fourth movie.
They waited too long.
If they would have done Captain America and the Winter Soldier as a movie, as the fourth Captain America movie, it would have been incredible at the box office.
Although a little contradictory of Bucky's art, because isn't his whole thing in that show where he's trying not to be the Winter Soldier anymore?
Yeah, but I mean, that you would still title the movie that, though, for sure. Yeah. Like, I feel like you would. Like, the fact is, there's a lot of things. I think someone said that there is a way to cut that series down to like 2.5 hours to make it into a movie.
Yeah,
I could see that.
There's definitely some fluff.
Why are you on your alt account?
You could trim.
I think this is his main account, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his main.
It's now Lance Ringgold Reviews. That's the name of the main account now.
It's been like that for a while.
That's his like @ handle.
Oh, so he must be on another channel then. That's why, because I was looking at it and he's a mod on one of my channels. That's why it looks different. Because he must be on the other channel. That's what it would be. All right, so CG Anime Fan says, I think it would be wise to wait until after Doomsday to announce who play characters like Professor X and Magneto so the fans can feel excited to see the original cast. Okay, here's my theory, and then we're going to take care of this poll. By the way, last call on the poll. If you want to vote on these, we're going to pick one of them tonight. So go ahead and vote. It looks like one of them is way ahead, but there we go. I think we might see, similar to Infinity War, a bunch of characters that we may not have seen in the marketing. We're going to see that for sure in the movie. I believe there's at least, I would say, 3 or 4 characters that are in there that we don't know about right now.
I agree.
Right? We're going to see a lot of characters go away forever at the end of Doomsday. That's what I think. Because I believe Doomsday is setting up the dangers of Doom. And in order for that to happen, some people got to go.
Who do you think?
So I think the OG X-Men are gone. I think we see the new X-Men in Secret Wars.
I think...
When I say, well, not even new X-Men. I think the OG X-Men are gone. And in Secret Wars, we see the second class of the X-Men. The ones from the other trilogy. That would be interesting. I could see
this new cast appearing at the end. I think we're going to have look back to like Crisis Episode 5. That was basically like showing where everyone is and where everyone is at. Like I think we'll see a bit of the X-Men, a bit of the Fantastic Four on this Earth. It's like what the Avengers look like on this new world. I think it's going to be a bit of that. So I could see them appearing there.
Hopefully we actually get to see the Avengers team up after that.
I don't think Thor dies, guys. I don't think Thor dies. I think Thor survives. Because if you know anything about the 2015 run, there's like thousands of Thors. So I think Thor makes it through. Because oh God, should I even spoil this? It's in the comics. Thor ends up working for Doom. So
so does Strange.
Yeah. So Strange is Doom's second in command and Thor controls basically their police force. So
I think... I mean, if you've seen, I don't know how much you talked about the Ghost Rider thing, Eric, but I think we're going for very safe stuff post Secret Wars. I think Ghost Rider, Black Panther, a lot of these are safe, like X-Men's safe. I think Thor 5 is a safe movie, so I think you keep Thor.
As long as you switch the director.
Like keeping Chris Evans is a safe choice.
I don't think Taika Waititi's coming back to Thor.
No.
So
no.
Yeah. Nope.
So
you know what they should do is bring Kenneth
Yeah.
Branagh back and have him do like a Viking aesthetic Logan send-off movie.
yeah. Casual viewer says I highly doubt. No, Fantastic Four are not going anywhere.
No,
So
It's not
I
long-term.
think most of the Thunderbolts are fine. I think the Fantastic Four, all four of them are fine. Spider-Man's obviously going to be fine. Thor's going to be fine. Doctor Strange is going to be fine. There's some characters that are just going to survive, but any of the previous eras of Marvel movies and any baggage in the current MCU are gone. Like, if they're not keeping them after Secret Wars, they're gone.
Yeah. I mean, we could also see characters die and it not be permanent. Like,
Wolverine, we will get a new Wolverine. I don't know if it'll happen right away, but we will get a new Wolverine.
Yeah.
So, we'll do this quickly before we go here. So the Paramount Warner Brothers thing, which Jake loves, the trial has been pushed to March, right? So Paramount's going to have to pay billions of dollars between now and March just to keep the deal alive. In order for the deal to continue and make it to trial, they have to keep paying money. And this is not, by the way, guys, this is not money included in the purchase, right? This is money on top of the money for the purchase, which means that they're going to have to pay billions of dollars leading up to the trial. And then if they win, they have to continue to pay until they allow the actual merger to happen. So we're talking like, if it happens, the end of next year, probably, because after they pass the trial, they still got to go through some more regulation stuff. So the end of 2027, somewhere around there. So that's fun. Several people in the industry believe they're going to walk away from the deal. And Ellison came out and goes, yeah, the only reason they don't want us to have this deal is because of CNN. So he's just he literally said the thing that I've been saying since the very fucking beginning. So anyway, it looks like the one that won was very easy. The best Spider-Man versions of all time. And I said this covers everything. So comic books, the different comic runs, different cartoons, different movies, different TV versions, different video game versions, any Spider-Man that has ever existed, your top 3 favorite of all time.
So a bunch of people have Spider-Man Lotus as their number 1, right?
Yeah, sure. Darren has requested something, so let's take a look at this. We're gonna
take
get the
this
panel
with
off
a
the
grain of
screen.
salt because that's our favorite scooper. That's wrong.
Oh
90% of the time.
no! Oh
But
no!
But I
All
think
right.
it's an interesting conversation to have.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. So Darren has shared this rumor. Reportedly, Marvel is also considering turning Strange Academy and Champions into films.
Oh Lord.
All right. So Darren, you brought it up. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, like I only bring this up because I don't know if you talked about it last time, but
No, we haven't talked about it all. So
the Wonder Man thing, I
Right.
think is
we mentioned it getting canceled. I was going to talk about that a lot more tonight, but I decided I'll save that for a separate video. But go ahead and talk about it. Yeah.
that does make me very curious about the future of TV because I am now wondering maybe it's not they didn't want it. Maybe it's because they're moving away from TV as a whole outside of like very few things. Strange Academy is the one where I'm like, that should be a TV show, right? Like that's the one that makes sense as a TV show.
Mhm.
If you're doing strange stuff in the movie, it should just be Doctor Strange 3. Champions make sense if that is to be true, although you could very easily run into the Thunderbolts thing. When you are doing a movie surrounded by Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop and Ironheart and characters that
Darren, pause for 1 second. The only thing they need to do is they would need to market it like we've never met those characters before.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they're going to market a movie with all of these TV characters for an audience, they need to remember that the audience just pretend they don't know these characters. You know what I mean? Market it like they're brand new, fresh characters that we've never seen before. I think the problem with the Marvels is they marketed it like we already knew who Ms. Marvel was, and we did, but I guess the general public didn't know who she was.
I mean, they didn't even, going off title, they didn't even market that movie as a continuation of Captain Marvel, so that didn't help either.
Well, that's why I've always said the title of that movie was the death knell for it. It should have been Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels. That's what it should have been titled. Or just Captain Marvel 2. Like it was really strange that they decided to take a $1 billion IP titled Captain Marvel, a movie that made $1 billion, and go, you know what? In the second film, we're just not going to use her name at all.
Yeah, that'd be
we're
like
just not going to use it.
That'd be like if you like took like Black Panther and then left the Black Panther out of the Wakanda Forever title.
Right, if it would have just been Wakanda Forever with no Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
Like the brand IP is so fucking important. That's why Thunderbolts had an issue. If they would have titled Thunderbolts New Avengers from the beginning, I think it would have made more money.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We got Staggervorth, the 499 super chat says, if Paramount dossier ends up getting Warner Brothers, who do you think could end up acquiring it? Oh, does it end up getting? Okay.
Nobody.
I think they stay separate because here's the thing, by the way, David Zaslav, after it's right around the corner, I believe it's June of next year, can say no, and they still have to give him like $17 billion or some bullshit number, even with him saying no. I don't think they intend to sell. I think at this point he's sold his shares and he's hoping that they lose, and then he can still get billions of dollars out of them and stay in charge at Warner Brothers. That's what I think. That's what I believe. But thank you for the super chat. All right, everyone. So we're going to wrap it up here. Don't forget, next Tuesday, Jake, now that you're here, I can tell you this. Next Tuesday is going to be a combination of a fan appreciation night and any news stories we get. So we will do our game night, list night on Tuesday of next week. So it'll be a regular show with that attached to it for everybody. So we'll be going to both channels, which we don't normally do with our appreciation for the polls. We're going to do it on both channels.
Yes, you want to show that you appreciate both channels, right?
I do, because I usually split them up over 2 channels, but this one we will do together. With that being said, Jake, shout out your channel. What have you got going on?
Right there, I got Lost Levels on Sundays. I want to shout out this most recent stream. We were doing another part of our Skyrim playthrough. We had 75 people in there at one point watching, which whether you were just watching, lurking, chatting, regardless, thank you all for stopping by. We got a Batman Arkham Knight stream this upcoming Sunday, some X-Men 97 coverage this week, and potentially 1 or 2 bonus videos in between the stream I just did and the one upcoming.
Okay. Wow, Jake dances on Hot Rod's grave.
Fuck Hot Rod.
All right, so Darren, what have you got going on over at Darren's Sanctuary?
Yeah, we do Pipeline typically every Thursdays, although we've been kind of behind lately. But Pipeline Thursdays after the credits every Monday with a bunch of my good friends, Taz and Ben, and sometimes Jake and all those guys over there. And I think I'll shout this out for him. I think I'm going to be over on Taz's channel this week doing another Spider-Man spoiler.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, that's this week. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thanks for having me.
I'm probably there too. I forgot it was this week. Wow, look at me.
So I was going to do an extra video tomorrow, but we kind of talked about it tonight already because we were talking about it with a group. So I much rather do it this way anyway. So I have another video coming up on Reloaded on Thursday. Tomorrow we'll have a new video on Debunks, and then there's a Copecast on Friday of this week. We're going to move the Copecast to Friday for a while to see how it does on Fridays. So thank you guys so much. Thank everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for all of the super chats, all of the thumbs up, all of the comments. If you haven't done it already, please consider leaving a like on the video because it does help us in the algorithm. And if you have any extra hype points this week, you can toss them on some of my videos. I would appreciate it. And that's it. And because it is my stream and I can do what I want, I'm going to end with my intro.